dun, 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 da, da. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, 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 everyone. All right. Hello, 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 hello. Where is my linkity link? Hello. All right. Where is my thingamajig? Hello? George? There it is. Okay. Stream music by Elvin today. I was looking for my little Elvin link. I was like, where did she go? Okay, hello, girls. Okay, let's pause the music. Hello, good morning. So sorry I wasn't here yesterday. I put up a great podcast. Let me go grab you a link for it because it was good, girls. I put up a new podcast and... Oop, hold on. Why is this happening? Hello? Okay, I'm here. I'm alive. I put up a new podcast yesterday. And it was really good, but it took all of my spoons and it took me so long to do it. And then because it took me so long to do it, I just like didn't have the spoons to come back and stream yesterday. So I listened to my body and took a break. Let me pull it up here. Go check it out. Links in the description. Or links in the chat. Here's the thing. I am so aware of how chronically ill I am every day. But I am here. I am gay. I'm here to stay. I just recorded also Mormon Mom, 2 videos for Mormon Mom. So I'm hopefully going to start getting that content up for you after the weekend. My hope is that I record enough in a bundle to have the videos come out pretty quickly because I don't want to have to do what I've done in the past, which is like run out of spoons, burn out, then put up a video like every 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 days. So I'm trying to pre-record, get them out for you guys to see them in a lump viewing. It's just taking a second. Shout out to my chronically ill girlies. It really does exhaust all of me to try to figure out how to balance everything. But you know how it is, girl. It's the universal struggle, right? Discord said, when are you starting Queer Ultimatum? After Mormon Moms, it's going to be late. I just have to accept, and this is the part of my content that's like, is a struggle for me as a content creator. I have to accept that I will get everything out late, that I can't get things when they're trending most of the time, because I just can't. Like, I don't have enough hours in the day to do everything before my body gives up on me and my brain turns to mush. So yesterday, even I took the day off from streaming and I tried to tell myself like maybe record a video, but my brain was mush. Like, it was literally mush. And I don't want to produce content for you with mush brain because it's not going to be good watching content. But today I come to you recharged, rested, cute as fuck. Okay, we're gonna go over I guess Simone B or B Simone. Is it B Simone or Simone B? Because when I look it up, it's like B Simone. So is her name B? I'm just trying to make sure that I'm doing, is it B? Yeah, it's B. Braylon? I think her name Braylon Simone. She is a content creator. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys know who she is because I came across the TikTok scandal that's happening with her right now. Look at me doing something trending. But the thing that stood out to me was a conversation that people were having around her being a bad friend because it involved money. And money is a very particular kind of issue. Like, money is a very particular kind of relationship ender between family members and the like. So what I want to do is allow her context, allow her and her friend to have this conversation together. Instead of clipping it out of context, which I think everyone has been doing, I want to make sure that we give them a chance to really explain where they're coming from. The title of the podcast is I'm Going Through a Spiritual Battle, and here's why. And from my understanding, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, B Simone is a Christian. So she's coming from this like very Christian perspective that I think is very interesting. And though she is popular, let me run you through this. Okay, so this is her. Beautiful, love her, like don't know anything about her, but like fashion. Okay, love her. Then look at this. On B Simone, Honesty and Navigating Friendship Red Flags. I was reading this article and it's like she's Christian, and I was like, oh, she's Christian. And then this article, Simone tearfully describes shopping at H&M immediately deemed out of touch. So apparently she doesn't have money. So this article is explaining how like the cost of building her legacy is that she doesn't have liquid cash. And all of this came out in the last 48 hours. So they went to the BET Awards. They came back to have this podcast. And basically, she talked about money. Her friend talked about money. It's a whole conversation about friendship. And so I want us to sort of use it to have a conversation about our own lives. If you guys are new to the channel, we do philosophy through pop culture, which means we take trending topics, or at least things that are in pop culture, and try to dissect them and deconstruct them in a way that helps us better our lives. And I think this is such a common and prevalent conversation for so many of us who grew up with family. Listen to me when I say this. My dad always told me that if I ever won the lottery, if I ever became very, very rich, not to tell anybody. He said, my dad always warned me, like, be charitable, but don't become people's bank accounts, right? Don't allow people to lean on you for inappropriate monetary support, right? And this is such an interesting idea to me because I have given money. I've been given money. It's very interesting because they always say don't give money unless you don't expect it back, but I don't actually work that way. I only give money to people that I expect it back from, or I give it as a gift and then I don't expect it back from you. So if I give you money and you do not pay me back, I will never give you money again unless it's appropriate. But I will never just casually, because listen, I pay people back. When people loan me money, I pay them back. And that's like a very big rule for Brittany. Now, if you give me money as a gift, then I'll take it as a gift and I won't pay you back because that would be spitting in the face of your gift. Right? So I think it's not that I think the context deserves a different reaction. I think you deserve to look at your friend who's always coming to you for money and start to judge their character if they never pay you back. And then on the same token, if you give your friends money as a gift, then make sure it's a gift and make sure you don't hold it over their head, right? Okay. Then I went to her Instagram. She has 5 million subscribers, almost 6. And she says, I live Jesus and I love to laugh. She's a stand-up comedian, entertainer, YouTuber, podcaster. She's famous enough or popular enough on social media to end up at the BET Awards. So that kind of gives you a status of where she's at. But she also, like many content creators, built a platform for herself that didn't give her anything to show for it in terms of liquid. And I think this is so prevalent right now because I don't know if you guys are seeing this on your timeline. Please tell me. Oh, wait, hold on, chat. Chat says she was a spiritual crystal girl, but then switched hard onto the Christian pipeline last year. Oh my God, wait, what? The crystal pipeline to Christian? Stop. That's so interesting to me. Was she also a lesbian before? Because that really would have, you know what I'm saying? Have you guys seen on your timelines all of these very big YouTubers saying that they don't have money to be content creators anymore? Have you guys been seeing this? I've seen like 8 different content creators with huge followings basically explaining to their audience why they're not making money. And I am deeply confused. Now, without judgment, because I know a lot of them are running businesses, a lot of them have employees, a lot of them are doing something different. I can only understand my own financial situation as a content creator, which I am 50% funded by viewers, right? Like I am a community-based content creator. I make money from AdSense, but I'm like heavily based in like, patrons or YouTube members. So like I am internally grateful. Like I'm very grateful that as a small content creator, my bills are obviously, my work is, I'm able to work for free in a sense because I end up having an audience that's willing to pay for the extra perks or the extra content. So I'm still working. Obviously, I'm always working, but there is something that like Google isn't paying me. I know some content creators think like only Google should pay them, but I believe in fan funding because I myself fan fund like content creators and I believe in it and I think it's a good model. And so that's why I appreciate every time you fan fund me because I fan fund other people as well. So I think there's something to be said about the struggle that's happening in content creation in celebrity. I want to caution people from assuming people are making so much money, right? Like they're not making so much money, but they should be making enough money. And then I start to wonder, are people living outside their means? Because again, if B. Simone is saying she is broke, right? if everyone is saying they're broke, then what are we talking about, right? Chet said Philip DeFranco has been saying this for years. You need multiple streams of income. I have 3 as an example. I have 3 streams of income, and if any of them disappeared, I would be very much in trouble. Like, if any of my 3 streams of incomes disappeared, I would be probably unable to pay rent. That's where I am. I need all 3 of my streams of income, and I need all of them to hit base numbers in order for me to pay my bills. Absolutely. And it's still good income. Like, that's what I'm saying. Even though I'm making good income, you know, for a person who doesn't go to hair appointments, for a person who doesn't get new clothes, for a person who like doesn't go on vacation or overspend, like for a person who is very minimalist at the moment, or at least like low spending at the moment, I'm doing okay. If I wanted to go on vacation, if I wanted to, I can't save for retirement right now. On the income I'm in, there's no saving for retirement yet. That's got to be later down the road. So it's not like I'm not at the ideal, and yet I am still making like a pretty good amount of money for somebody in my position. And that's the problem with money, is like everyone's having different conversations about like what's enough money, right? NA, welcome to memberships. Happy to have you here. Appreciate you. So that's the conversation we're all having, is like, what's enough money? And I do think a lot of these LA-based creators probably overspent thinking they'd always have this much money left. Like a lot of video essayists who did very, very well for their first like 10 video essays, after they fell off a little bit or like it settled, I think they were shocked at how little money they were making, versus I've always, and this is my suggestion to you, slow and steady wins the race. I've always been a slow builder. I've always slowly built my money. I've always made money, like at least more money every year, or like solid money every year. And I've just tried to, for those years I make less money, tried to compensate. And so like living within a budget and trying to be just like focused on not overspending is important. But it also, again, and this is just my recommendation for you, is I put down really hard boundaries about like what I was doing, because I had made so many financial mistakes. I have made so many financial mistakes that I'm finally in my 30s figuring it out. But I can tell you that I see this happening with a lot of content creators where they have like 700,000 subscribers and they're like, I'm not making enough money. And I'm like, yeah, if you like, do you need 6 figures? Like, do you need, because if you just need like 60, 70K, you should be able to make that off 700,000 subscribers, unless you're like a Boogie. See how Boogie had 1 million subscribers and couldn't even make like 30K because he wasn't producing, he wasn't actually showing up, he wasn't making content. A lot of these content creators that don't make money are also only posting once a month or once a week. Like, you would have to like think about all the content creators that contend with the market. We're posting a lot, and we're posting a lot because there's an audience for it. I don't care how many times Phil posts a week, I'm watching. That's the thing. If Philip DeFranco posted twice a day, I'd still watch. I watch his live streams. I watch his news station. Like, if I'm into a content creator, it doesn't matter how much they post, I'm going to watch it. That's why I say, like, it's not, as long as the content's good, people will watch it, right? Heck, if the content's bad, people watch it. As we've learned, if the content's bad, people will watch it. You know, isn't that funny? So anyways, with all of this said, if you're going to be a content creator, remember, it's a creative venture. So even if you reach celebrity status, even if you reach 5 million subscribers, it doesn't mean you're going to make money. You're still a creative. So create, you know, and make sure that you understand that it's going to fluctuate. I don't know why people, like, you will die a starving artist more than likely than get famous. So like, remember that and be okay with it, or make sure you have a job that funds your art, right? Okay. With that whole monologue to start us off, let's talk about B. Simone talking to her friend. She's going to introduce her. They just got back from the BET Awards. They're a little tired. And let's see how they handle this very uncomfortable conversation about friendship, money, and struggle.
And my earrings, her shoes are already off.
How's the
volume?
volume?
Welcome back, Shekinah. Y'all know Shekinah.
What's up, y'all?
Okay,
We're back.
Sissy, how do you feel?
We're back in our favorite place. We absolutely adore LA.
We love LA. It's like a piece of our heart is in LA.
No, it is.
Why
I don't
is
know
that?
what that means, but
I just think it's the next phase. Like, it's next step.
yeah.
Like, you went from the Carolinas. Where did you come from, Raleigh?
Raleigh.
To Atlanta. It's like
Raleigh to New York.
to New
Maryland.
York. Yeah. Did the East Coast, did the West Coast, did the South. It's like, I mean, did the East Coast, did the South, did the Midwest, Ohio.
West Coast. Yeah.
Now it's like the West Coast is like the next season. Like, okay, LA. We
sure.
we just need to be here more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or get us a house.
As a girl who grew up in Southern California, I've never said to my life, I need to be in LA more, but I love that they feel that way.
We will. Get us a house. I'm like, we're going to the house in LA.
be here more. But I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Why do you
I
say
think-
that though? Like, what are you channeling right now?
Your resilience. You just constantly push through. I don't know how you do it. I'm like, what? I would have been broke. I don't even know.
That's
the
not
words.
true because you're so resilient too.
I don't know.
You done been through some shit, so stop.
For sure.
Yeah. You're hungry. I'm gonna let you
So
eat.
hungry.
It's fine. She can cry.
But yeah, I'm proud of you.
She's hungry.
You look beautiful.
Thank you, baby.
Did you feel beautiful tonight?
I feel so good. I was on that carpet. I didn't think twice about my answers. You know when you're not happy or
Yeah,
you
your
have,
answers, we was long-winded. I was like, she is feeling
and
it.
I meant everything I said.
did.
Oh my God, you guys. On the red carpet today, I was so in my element, in my bag, and so confident and so
Yeah.
bold and just
You were.
I meant everything I said. And you know how I know when I'm in a good space? When I'm talking to people and I look them in their eyes. When I look off or look away or I'm just
Oh, can I just say this? I saw a TikTok that was like, you can tell this guy's lying because he's not looking straight at the camera. As an autistic girly that can't look straight at the camera all the time, or like at chat, or I'll lose my train of thought. I really think it's interesting how every single one of us has a different way of expressing when we're in the element or in our moment. But like, you know, there's that meme of autistic people can't make eye contact, but when they do, it's like dun-na-na-na-na. It's like straight into your soul. I just think that's funny.
deflecting. Like it's like a nervousness or an
Really?
anxiousness
Yeah,
or
you
a
didn't
lack
do
of
that tonight.
confidence. I looked at every single person in their eye the whole time we had a conversation. And that's when I know I'm in a good space. So I feel really good. Like I'm just in a confident season. I'm in a bold season and I'm coming out of so much darkness.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah.
That makes me think about, I think the last event we did, I called you after and I was like, I really want your confidence
Yep.
to come from a place, a secure place,
Yep.
and a place of like, not kind of before, not that I thought you were faking it till you make it, but there are some
Yeah,
moments
hell yeah.
that you have to put on a face. There's some
Hell
moments that you
yeah.
gotta fake it till you make it.
Wait, Discord says, I see Brittany look from YouTube chat to Discord to video. And can I just, wait, that reminded me. Okay, so then I saw this other video that was like, it was a criticizing slop content, which I have a lot to say about that, but that's for another video. And they said, you can always tell when a YouTuber is running out of things to say on stream. So they like pretend they're like thinking, but they're actually just looking at their chat to save them. Who are you guys watching? I swear, and it was a man saying it and talking about men. So honestly, maybe this is like a boy bubble problem because like I have never seen a girl content creator who's a yapper like I am ever struggle to say something. Maybe they lose their train of thought at most, but I've never thought like, ooh, I have nothing to say. I should check chat to say something. It's just like, I have nothing to say now, or this is the end of my sentence. And I just think that's so interesting. The idea of like, oh no, as a content creator, I rely heavily on my audience and I couldn't make content unless I had that feedback. That's so interesting. That's interesting.
To feel it. And I was just like, I don't want you to fake it to make it. I want you to feel the
be
confidence.
it.
I want you to be it. And I think today I saw you being it.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw you
Opposed to
being
the
it.
other event when we had our conversation.
Yeah,
Tell
for
them what
sure.
you told me. Like, you know.
I told you that. What else did I tell you?
No, I'm just saying that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you kind of pulled me to the side and
Wait, great point. Chad says, I see the H3 crew do this every time Ethan leaves for the bathroom, immediately runs to chat. Well, to be fair, that's because they're not content creators. Like, they're not the entertainment. Like, look, I love my chat. I love interacting with my chat. I think the chat here makes the content better for stream. But, like, to rely on your chat for stream is, like, I guess one way to do content. But it's certainly not, I think, what I'm used to watching as an audience member. You know what I mean? But I love my chat and I love hearing you guys and I want you to be a part of the conversation. I don't know, that stood out to me, this idea of like, I never thought about that perspective of being on stream and then thinking to yourself, like, if it wasn't for my chat, I wouldn't have content. Like, I guess if you're doing a Q&A, then definitely, right? But I don't want to keep you guys on stream just to keep you here. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It was an interesting thing I heard in a video and I was like very confused by it.
we're like, basically that. Like,
Yeah.
she pulled me to the side and was like, you know, how do you feel? I was like, I was a little nervous. Like, she was like, well, do you feel like you belong here? You were like, do you feel like do you feel confident? I was like, I mean, excuse me. I was like, I think so. And you were like, no, like, I can tell you're like faking it till you make it.
Yeah, I could tell you weren't.
Yeah.
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 I think this time it was in a Christian space.
Oh,
Yeah.
And you're navigating, coming out of the culture.
Yeah.
Finding your way in
Yeah.
the kingdom part of the entertainment industry. And it was one of those events for you. It was new. And so I could tell like you were nervous and finding your space. But I think, you know, that conversation, you ran with it. Tonight, you walked confidently and boldly.
I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt great.
Yeah.
I felt great. And what she was saying earlier while I'm drinking this water, y'all, I'm on a water fast. And I can say that now because by the time
Oh, not being on a water fast is such like an interesting thing. I told you guys, right? When my brothers would like do a water fast with us, they didn't even last the evening. I was like, there's no way you guys are going to last. Be quiet. I don't know. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I don't believe in like water fasts and stuff. Like if you want to challenge yourself and see what happens, but like, I just like, I don't know. I don't know. Some people say it benefits them. I don't know. I don't know. If you do it, great. But like, I'm not a fan of it, especially, I don't know. What's the point of it? I don't know. Is it even medically sound? I don't know. I would have to ask a doctor.
Time y'all see this, I will be off of it. I don't tell people I'm fasting when I'm on it. Of course, she kind of knows because she's my best friend. She's around me all day, every day.
You're withering away.
I'm withering away. I'm a freaking frail, and she hasn't seen me eat for 9.
It's so, oh God.
I broke down last night.
You did. She was getting her
We'll
hair
talk
done.
about that.
Okay.
But I want you to tell them what happened. But
Yeah.
I'm on 9 days of water only. I have Celtic salt in my water, and I do magnesium and potassium, and that's all I have when I do my water fast.
I would be so cranky. I would start World War III myself if I was on a water fast. Like real people out here starving and you're choosing to starve on purpose. Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. But people, like, I don't want to judge because I know people always like, oh, calorie counting is like a eating disorder and this and this and this. I don't know. I would have to talk to a doctor. I have no idea if this is ever done healthy. I got to assume maybe, but I don't know.
Fast every month, but this is the first time this year. I haven't done a 10-day fast.
You only did it once before.
I did it in 2023 twice.
Oh, yeah.
And the third time I tried to do it, I had my answer the first day.
Oh, I
so
remember
didn't.
that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even have to do 10 days.
Yeah.
I had my answer the first day of my fast.
Yeah.
So this is my first time doing a 10-day water fast. Not my first time doing a water fast this year, but 10 days. And God is pushing me to 13. I know I'm not going to get
I
off
said,
of
are
it.
you sure?
Yes.
Last night you were crying your eyes out. I said, did you pray again and ask him again? Did
So
he-
tell them what happened. Walk through that.
Yeah,
What?
I went out to dinner with a friend and then I came home. You were getting your hair done. And I just looked at you and you was like, I'm tired. And I was like, I know you're tired. And you just started crying. And I was like, do you want to stop? Like, you were like, no. And I was like, are you sure? Did you pray about it? Did you ask him about it again? Maybe he's
And I said
releasing it.
no.
And you were like, no, I'm not released yet. But that's so hard as your friend to watch you go through that.
I was like, this is so
Is this a religious thing? Is she like sacrificing for God or something?
hard.
so hard.
Oh my God. And it's not even the hungry part. Like you get past the hunger. Like I can't say like if I had a pizza in front of me, I'm like, I'm past the food.
Yeah.
It's 9 days of water. I'm past the food. It's just the like
mental.
your spirit is yearning for answers. I'm about to cry now.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I know.
It's like you're yearning for God's voice. You're yearning for something to
Because
hold.
when you fast, your spirit becomes set apart
sensitive.
and you're sensitive and you're seeking and you're desiring something of him. Do you feel like you're getting what you are seeking for? Or is that where your frustration is? Was that the tears?
I feel like today I was weeping in prayer. I was like, God, help
You
me. to fight
were. I
spiritually.
woke up. That was my alarm this morning.
I can't believe you heard me.
Oh, I woke up and
Wait. Chad is saying they're using fasting as a method to cleanse the body so they could hear God more easily when they're asking questions. Oh, Pentecostal Christians of fast also. I mean, I think I'm more like I grew up similar to Muslims where like Catholics fast for Lent. The adults are like the kids who are of age, but they fast during the day and then they eat in the evening. Like they fast from like 5 to 5 or whatever it is, but like not, you have to be of age. You have to be a certain kind of kid. You have to make sure you're still drinking water and getting like, I think Muslims don't even drink water. If I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think Catholics can drink water, but I think Muslims don't even drink water during their fasting hours, right? Catholics don't play like that. So like it's all religious. I'm a big fan of doing something that challenges you and is a part of discipline, but I'm not a big fan of anything that is harmful for your physical health in the name of God. So I'm not sure about that.
you were like going at it. Jazz called and she's like, where's Braylon? Like, we have a phone call. I was like, baby, it's going to be another 30 minutes. She is in there wailing.
Wow.
Yeah, you were gone. I was like, I'm not going in there knocking on the door because she's in her bag right now.
Wow. All I kept saying was, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. Help me fight spiritually, help me fight. So I feel like my answer is in what is happening in the spiritual realm. I feel like I am attacking something that I can't see right now.
Wow.
That's what I feel like.
It sounds Ruby Frank. Remember how Ruby Frankie, and not to put her in the same category, but you just remember when Ruby Frankie was like the spirit of God and Hildebrand was like, I don't like this language. It makes me very uncomfortable. I don't like it. I'm open. I'm trying to hear her, but I'm struggling already. We're 9 minutes in.
That's what I feel like.
You feel like you're attacking something you can't see right now. Do you feel like you know what it could be? Although you can't see it because sometimes our spirit does know. Like
I feel like it's breakthrough with what I'm creating with the app. I feel like there's been so much financial, just my finances, like the budgeting. You see how I am nitpicking every little thing.
Never
I've never been like that. We were in Bloomingdale's yesterday. I'm like, we have to go to H&M.
Yeah.
Like I notice it in me now.
Ooh, okay. Human's gonna human. I feel like she's really in it. I feel like I don't believe this. I don't know yet, but I'm very, this bubble seems very uncomfortable to me. I'm not a fan of whatever's happening here because it just feels like she's sad. Like, right? I feel like she's sad. And I feel like when you do things for the right reasons, you're going to feel liberated, even if you're experiencing sadness. She doesn't give me liberated, but she is giving me struggling. And struggling is interesting. Like struggling is interesting. Religion's all about struggling. Religion's all about, but you need to learn to suffer wisely. It's not giving suffering wisely, but let's see. Maybe there's a context I'm not understanding.
No, just nitpicking. And it's not even, I just don't have.
And by the way, that line also made people get mad at her because they're saying, wow, you can't shop at Bloomingdale's. You have to go to H&M. P.S. H&M is fast fashion, and every item of clothing that you give back to H&M ends up in a landfill. Remember that everything you own will one day be in a landfill because nothing ever disappears from the planet. Thank you. So yeah, Chess says, Brittany, how many days have you done a water fast? 0, girl. Fucking 0. Fucking motherfucking 0. Because I eat food and I'm not going to hear it otherwise, girl. God did not put me on this planet to make this kind of money to not eat, especially when there are people starving on this planet. No, ma'am. I want every person fed. I want nobody to starve. I want 0 starvation in the world. I'm not going to start with myself. You know what I'm saying? I have never gone on a water fast. I do not. I get hangry. I absolutely not. For what? You better tell, girl, I can barely like go no carbs. Relax. And by the way, I don't even believe in no carbs. So, but yeah, in a world where I think nobody should go hungry, I don't want to see you volunteering to starve yourself, but whatever.
Have it like to spin the liquid.
Yeah.
I'm used to having liquid. And because I've invested in this app and this platform, I don't have the liquid. I got
Not
the
yet.
money.
Not yet.
But not yet. It's coming. I have it in assets. I have it in jewelry. I
Yeah.
have it in, but
A lot of rich people have that. A lot of rich people have assets and land, but they don't have the cash.
it's like the liquid. I'm used to seeing a certain amount in my account.
But you're also used to a hustle mentality.
For sure.
And this time when you set out to do the app, you said that you wanted to do something that was legacy.
That's
was
gonna
gonna
have longevity. Not
And look, girls, if you're telling me, because I see you in chat saying, Brittany, I did it for my health. Hey, you do you. It would not be for my health to do it. Like, I guarantee you, it would not be for my benefit to starve myself. Because that's what a fast is. But like, you know what I mean? Like, if that's the thing you want to do, that's the thing you're going to do. If your doctor recommends it, you do it. I know a lot of people do it for cancer. A lot of people do it for a lot of reasons. Not my life, not my lived experience, but you do you. And I can't recommend it because it feels like very unsafe for me to recommend it. Oh, Chad says, I think me, Brittany, not Brittany. Oh, my bad. My bad. Let's see. Chad says, wait, no, I saw, what app are they talking about? I think B. Simone has her own app. I think that's what she's talking about. Like, she made an app because she's a comedian and entertainer. And I think that she's trying to make money off her app.
I'm
That's-
quick.
Yes, you don't.
I don't want it.
quick
I don't
return.
want it quick, and I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I know that. I believe in what we're building.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, that's what I'm fighting.
Use the microwave,
spiritually.
and this app is a crock pot.
Wow.
This app is a slow cooker.
Wow.
And you're going to reap the benefits of it later. But right now, you're sowing seeds into that. And so it just takes time. But you'll have that liquid cash.
I believe
and
that.
You'll have all
I
that.
believe
You know
that.
it.
I know it.
Yeah.
But
And that's why the battle of the app is so challenging, because when God's hand is on something, when his hand is on something, it's evident. Do you know how many women's lives are impacted already?
We haven't
that
even put
casting call we did, bro. Life changing.
life changing. Life changing.
Every girl that's a part of this. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had major breakthrough moments. She's launching the app, and there's a talk show on the app that I'm a part of, and we sat on the couch. When I tell you breakthrough moments, like, that's off the backs of you. Yeah, you're going through this. Yeah, you feel like you're tired. Yeah, you got to fast 10 days.
Woo!
Yeah, you're going into 13. Yes. Yes. You talking about you want to be a Jamie Foxx. What?
What?
You want to be honored at the BET Awards? Well, for
What?
sure. This is your journey, babe.
You guys, Simply Pop has launched a new prebiotic soda, Simply Pop, the new juicy soda. There are
I don't know what's going on with this photo, but I kind of like it. The suit's on backwards.
5 flavors, y'all. Pineapple, mango, lime, sugar, and it's soda
Simply
that had a
Pop.
5 of punch because they on now. You find out
And that's what I feel like I'm fighting.
Coke, url.com/simplypop.
And that's what I feel like I'm fighting spiritually.
For sure.
The app where it's coming and this and that and the money and the financial freedom and what we're building. And I don't really know yet.
You're a visionary. You're a visionary. And from the very first podcast you ever had to now, people's lives are attached to it. Purpose is attached to it. Mine was attached to it. Still is attached to it. Fulfillment is attached to it. You are a visionary. And unfortunately, it comes with weight. The weight that you carry on your shoulders for that, you got to carry everybody else along. It's heavy.
I mean, that's true. If you're building a legacy and the legacy is dependent on you, honestly, in many ways, the reason I stay small and solo is because I honestly can't handle the responsibility of owning a company that's going to pay for people's livelihood. Like Chelsea Fagan owns a company and she's not even the highest paid employee on that roster, as far as I know. Last time I saw her update on it. But her channel succeeding is about other people getting paid in a big way. So that's a lot of stress, right? And I know my father ran a business. He just closed it. And one of the things my dad always did is like he paid his employees first. So like if the business was having rough years, which, happens in business, my dad always made sure the employees were paid first and then himself. And then if he couldn't pay either, he would try to give as much work to the employees as he could until he was back on his feet, because the industry, any industry you're in, will have good and bad years. This idea that once you're famous, you always have access to money. Not always. You do have to handshake the right way and act the right way and show up the right way. And, one moment can change your life overnight. So you have to be very conscientious of it. So I can understand that stress from that perspective.
It's heavy, but you're called. Because period.
I know. You know what you said to me the other day that it's like embedded in my head.
What?
And it was so, I don't even think you've thought about it twice.
What did I say?
I was telling you what I wanted to do with the girls from the casting call. I don't want to talk about that yet, but we had a casting call in Atlanta and women from all over the community came. And I want to do something with a select few of them. And I want to take it to other cities. And I've created something really, really big that's going to take over the world. And I said something to you and I was like, I want to do this. I was telling you all the ideas. I was like,
now, okay, I see your concern in chat, right? Over her putting a lot of emphasis on her app and feeling attached to it. I will say she does seem to be in the very entrepreneurial bubble, high celebrity bubble. She is trying to be somebody. And when you try to be somebody, there's going to be a lot riding on you in a big way. There's going to be a lot that people expect of you in a big way. So I will say that from one perspective, she's also probably she's probably this sounds like I don't mean to say it this way, but I feel like she's overplaying how good the app is in a sense to get people excited for it. Because if she downplayed it, people would feel bad about it. People want to believe that you believe in your product enough to be like, this is the best app ever. This is the greatest thing you've ever seen. And it works. Logan Paul does this. Mr. Beast does it. They do. This is the best coin you're going to buy. This is the best whatever. Like, they try to make it sound like a big deal. And honestly, I have a really hard time doing it because it feels so fake. Like a call to action as an example. Hey, join the Patreon. It's amazing. Join the Discord. Join memberships. It's amazing. Like, it is amazing. But I also want you to join it if you want, not because you feel like you're missing out. But one of the greatest ways to make people join is to make them feel like they're missing out. FOMO. But see, I don't experience FOMO, so I don't even know how to target other people's FOMO because I don't care. Right. But if I was better if I was in a brand and I was marketing, I would target your FOMO. I know that sounds really bad, but I think that's what people do. I think they target people's desire to be in something that's growing or to be a part of something because it makes them feel powerful. You know what I mean? So I think, I think this is what we're seeing sort of is like they're talking entrepreneurially and they're talking Christian and they're talking tired. They just went to the BET Awards. So that's another thing. If I had gone to the BET Awards, I could never have the spoons to do a podcast after. The fact that she just did the BET Awards and now she's coming home to film a podcast, I don't know how I would never be able to do that. I would never have the energy to do that. So I also take that into mind. Maybe she's tired. Maybe she's a little fuzzy. She hasn't eaten in 10 days or 13 days or whatever it's been. So maybe she's, you know, maybe we're not seeing the greatest version of her is what I'm trying to say.
And then we're going to do this, and then we're going to get this, and then we're going to do this design, and we're going to go.
Oh, I said whatever you say. Yeah, I told you whatever you say. I get annoyed with that with you.
That melted my heart, though.
Yeah.
You were like, whatever you say, I know it's going to happen.
I know
like,
it's
you don't
gonna
have to
happen.
convince me.
No, I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I've seen it happen. No matter what. That's why I'm like, I'd be scared when you start talking because I'm like, wait, hold on a second. If you start talking about arenas and conferences and this and book, I'm like, whoa. Give it a second because it's going to happen.
You said, whatever you say. You were like, whatever you say, I know it's going to happen because you
believe
said
it.
it. Oh my God.
I believe it. Yeah.
It's just the power that, I would almost say the power that I have, but no, the gift that God has given me, and the power that's behind that. Like whatever I believe, whatever.
It is the power that you have, though. You can say that.
That is crazy.
You can say it's the power that you have.
Woo, Jesus. It's crazy.
Your gift is your words. Your gift is your ability to have, you have the gift of faith. Some people will call it manifestation. Some people will call it certain things. You have the gift to believe. You have the gift to believe. Whatever you believe, Braylon, always happens.
That is wild.
Yeah. It's nuts.
I start saying stuff. She kind of be like, be quiet.
God, shut up. Please. I can't.
Yeah. So I'm proud.
Wait, ooh, great question. Chad said, is this Christian manifestation? You know, if it's meant to be, God will bring it into your life. My mom used to say, if you say it, it will happen. Like what you say, what you say, what you bring about, what you think about, you bring about. My mom would say, if you think about it, you'll bring about it. Like you'll bring it into your life. So be careful what you think about. Be careful what you want. Be careful what you ask for. You know what I mean? And here's my theory on it. My theory, and this is what I find to be true for myself. And I think this is just basic psychology 101, honestly, is that if I go to bed and I tell myself I'm going to be tired in the morning, I'm more tired in the morning than I am if I tell myself I'm going to get up and have a great day and I'm going to have a boost of energy in the morning. And if I tell myself that, I'm still tired, but I'm able to get up faster and better and earlier than if I tell myself I'm tired, I just want to sleep in, I don't want to do this. Like I almost tell myself tomorrow we're going to have a great day because we're going to go in fully focused. And then I do, and I'm still tired, but I'm able to get out of bed faster than a person who's like, man, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And sometimes you can't do it because you're chronically ill. But I do think if you think about something, we know that it impacts us. We know that intrusive thoughts or hateful thoughts or speaking negatively to yourself impacts yourself. I don't think it necessarily means that if I sit here and go to bed every day and say tomorrow I'm going to be a millionaire, tomorrow I'm going to be a millionaire, that I would be a millionaire. But it's tomorrow I tell myself I'm going to go to work and show up with my best, my best energy, that if I do that enough, maybe it turns into $1 million and that will make me feel like I manifested it. But I really don't, I don't think it literally is happening because I said it. It's probably just happening because you're putting in the work. But I do think what you tell yourself matters. I do think that matters. I will say the way that the friend and her are she's being praised, the dynamic is off for me. I'm not used to the bubble speak. I feel a little bit weird about it, but also it's interesting to see them talk about they're putting her on a pedestal. And I wonder about that. Is that the cope? Because I know everybody wants to be Oprah. Everybody wants to be Beyonce. Everybody wants to be these very big powerhouses. Everybody wants to be Miranda from The Devil Wears Prada. But do you? And this goes back to my theme this month. What is the point of being a celebrity if it isn't to free people and liberate people? And if you get famous and you don't do that, what was the point? To some point, unless your point is capitalism. How many people are just yeah, I want to make money for me, fuck everybody else. Okay, well, that's what we call a dirty capitalist. So, okay, let's see, because they're about to talk about money too. I want to hear them talk about this. But yeah, it's the pedestaling that's making me personally uncomfortable.
Proud of myself for this fast. Today is day 9.
Oh, day 9.
Tomorrow is day 10. First of all, it was going to be 3 days. God called me to 10, and I'm hoping he releases me on the 13th.
I hope God releases me from the 13th. Yeah, I don't like God. I'm not a big fan of this God. I'm not a big fan of this relationship with God. Yeah, I didn't grow up with this. This is not my bubble. My mom goes to daily mass. I've never heard my mom say, I hear God calling me to a fast. Maybe he'll release me. This isn't my bubble.
You say to somebody that is in a season that you're in, a season of transition, a season of growth, a season of believing God for something that they
Go ahead, take it off. We had on clip-on earrings, baby. They so heavy.
heavy, but I'm putting my back on. I ain't about to be on the camera.
Hers just fell off. I took mine off. I wish I could take this lipstick off. You ain't gonna
For
make it
sure.
work.
But what would you say to somebody that's in the same season as you, transition, growth, believing God for something, not even knowing all that you're believing for, and it's a tussle, like to give into your flesh and maybe not want to fast or feeling like he's calling you too fast? Like, what does that surrender look like, and how does that person take that next step to do that?
You know, the crazy thing, you're asking this because this is what we just talked about. When you are called and when you are chosen, your choices in your life and your idea of fun and your
we were just talking about
decisions, they look different. You have to, what? It's so hard letting go of the old you. We were at the BET Awards, and I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. We just left the BET Awards, and I'm like, I'm looking around. I'm like, damn. I just want to get drunk, get a blunt, go binge eat on some food, go out tonight. Fuck it.
We said some other stuff too.
We said some other stuff, baby. I was looking at Lucky Day like, nigga,
what up? What?
that nigga fine. You hear me?
Jesus. Thought to melt on the carpet.
What?
Yeah, it was nuts.
You have to leave your old life behind.
Oh, so she like used to be fun. And then she like used to be of the world. Let me rephrase. She used to be of the world. And now she's trying to be Christian. Is that what you guys were trying to tell me before? Like she was in the spiritual bubble. So she used to smoke. She used to drink. And not that you should be a hedonist, but she used to have a life. And now she's in this life. Interesting.
I thought about it. Yes. Am I going to follow my thoughts? Every thought cannot be an action.
Okay,
every
that's true.
thought cannot be
Hey, that's true. Not every thought cannot be an action. I agree.
reality. Every thought cannot take you back to what God delivered you from.
Yeah.
Deliverance? We talking about drunk driving. We talking about being in the car with niggas that I don't even know.
Okay, well, that's not good, girl. No. It sounds like she was in a very toxic bubble and she got better. Wait, skirt. I just want to say, like, if she was doing bad stuff, then I agree with her that better for her not to do those things. But it's interesting that she was delivered into Christianity instead of feminism. Ooh. I said what I said.
No, we talking about going to Miami, going to the strip club. I don't know how I got home.
But that's why the price of deliverance is it costs so much. Because in those moments where you contemplate, should I? You're like, I'm not about to give up one night of joy for all of that I just fought through
a
my prayer room.
moment of fleshly,
Absolutely not.
a flesh, what is
Absolutely
it?
not. Desire?
Desire, or when you get fulfilled, fleshly.
Wait, chat says this B Simone is at least not as bad as the one that said she'd get up and make a sandwich for her man at 3 a.m. or whatever. So, okay, I did very little research, so correct me if I'm wrong. And a lot of Black women were saying that she is the ultimate pick-me. And I didn't know the context of this. They were showing her with really short, like silverish hair. And I wasn't sure what the context of it was. Oh yeah, chat says B Simone unfortunately suffers from pick-meism. Okay, so I don't know exactly the details of that, but I was wondering if that's why she chose a patriarchal religion bubble. Because when she was a spiritual girly, was she also adhering and upholding the patriarchy? And now that she's Christian, is that why she didn't find feminism? She found, Chess said she was being a real pick-me, real bad in that era. Okay, so interesting. So, okay, I'm glad she's better in some ways because it sounds like she's safer. I wonder how long this phase will last, if it will be temporary, Interesting. Okay.
I don't know the word, but when your flesh is fulfilled for a moment to ruin your destiny, where God is taking you, absolutely not. We back at the Airbnb podcasting. I'm about to wipe this makeup off and lay my ass down. And if she kind of want to go get some food or something, we might go get some food. I might ride with her, might go meet a friend, but I can't go back to my old lifestyle for a moment of pleasure.
Sure.
That's what I'm trying to say. Fleshly pleasure in the moment. So to answer your question, I think what brought that up was you have to surrender who you thought you were. The person you were is not the person God called you to be.
No.
It was a transition. The person that made me famous is not who God called me to be. Not all of who he called me to be. It's who I was in that season, but he is moving you to higher. And when you're chosen, you have to make decisions.
Oh, what is this? What is this wording? Girls, help me. When you're chosen, like did God come down like Zeus and give you a little dick? Or sorry, my bad. My bad. I'm sorry. Especially since Zeus was really raping people. My bad. That was a bad joke. Look. When you say God chose you, he come down like the fairy godmother and boop you on the nose. There you go. Sorry. My bad. Anyways, like the stream, bro. Like the stream.
decisions. What did you say? Somebody else is leading your life.
Oh my God, you don't have control of your life anymore. We were talking about that at the awards. Like, we wish we can go out. We wish we can do that. But when you got to check in,
You're submitting to
I'm not
somebody.
checking in with my husband or ex. You're not checking in with a man. You're submitting to God, and you're checking. God, can I do that? God, do you want me? And it's like, no, like, you're still having accountability
And
to
you
something.
know, I know better now.
Yeah, I know
there was
better.
days in my life where I didn't know better. I didn't feel conviction about weed. I didn't feel conviction about alcohol. I didn't feel
Yeah.
conviction about certain things. And everybody's conviction is different. And I know everybody goes, well, sin is sin. I get that. But we're all on a journey. So you have your relationship with God. And when he tells you something, that's when you move.
Yeah.
I've been convicted about drinking. I was convicted April 25th, 2023. Haven't had a drink since. Won't forget the day
And I'm
because I
not.
remember
I
every
just
moment.
had one tonight.
Baby, she just had one. And I love it when she order.
Yeah.
I'd be like, give me a lemon drop
You do.
and drink it for me.
Yes, you do.
My conviction, I don't push my convictions on everybody else. I've been celibate for 2 years. If my friends is getting some, I'm like, all right, girl,
Not me.
tell me about it.
I wish.
Interesting.
I'm letting my friends go on their own journey. I don't push my convictions on other people. Everybody has their own relationship with Christ, and you have to be obedient to what God is telling you to do. So to
Okay, I appreciate that she's not pushing her convictions on others. I think that's really good. I'm actually kind of proud of her for being not only sober but for celibate. It feels like she needs some me time. I kind of feel like she does need some time to be herself, and I'm proud of her for taking that time to be herself because I'm glad she's not just in a new relationship. I'm glad she didn't jump from like one person to another because sometimes when we have a switch, we jump to a man. So I'm happy for her that she's taking time. Even if the man she did jump to was God, not my favorite, but like, okay.
answer your question, I think it's that when you're called and when you're chosen,
You gotta surrender.
you gotta fight your flesh. You gotta fight it. My flesh don't run me. I tell my flesh what to. I tell my
Lord.
flesh what to do. My flesh
Yeah.
don't tell me when to eat.
Yeah.
I tell my flesh when to eat.
Yeah.
My flesh don't tell me when to get. I tell my flesh when to get up.
Yeah.
I've been doing on this ice bath shit lately.
I think
y'all.
that's your word for this year.
What?
Discipline.
Discipline.
You've been in the gym. You've been doing your skincare routine. You've been fasting. You've been doing ice baths.
Ice baths.
Like,
I went
going
first
to the
time I did an ice
sauna.
bath was 20 seconds. I'm up to 4 minutes now.
Crazy.
Sitting in the whole time
Whoa.
I'm in there, I can do hard things. I can do hard things.
Mental.
What?
for sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, this overlaps with my theory about self-help bubbles and like the entrepreneurial self-help bubble especially, where they, oh my God, I'm so excited for you guys to see. Okay, the Mormon Show did something just like this in the first episode where I swear to God, instead of actually figuring out what's wrong, everyone just makes themselves do like unorthodox therapy or ice baths thinking that like this is going to get me to my next like place. I don't believe it usually. I don't really believe in this idea that doing hard things makes you wiser. I think if you do hard things in the right context with the right idea about growing, it might make you better. But I think again, suffer wisely. There's just so much unwise suffering. And I want you to suffer wisely. Like, yeah, it's really impressive. She can take 4-minute ice baths. But is it actually helping, or does it just feel like it's helping? Is it like a placebo, or is it actually real? And I feel this way with all these self-help gurus. Like, nothing worse than seeing a person miserable, saying like, I love this teacher, they really saved me. For a teacher that saved you, you look pretty fucking miserable. I actually think I do credit to my therapist in a way, because I was actually somebody who got better in a sense. Like, in a sense, my therapist could say, like, not that I would literally shout them out, but I could say like, oh, my therapist that I had all those years ago, like, she really saved my life. And look, I'm a testament to it. My life has only gotten better since I worked with her. But it wasn't her. It was me. It was me actually paying attention to her good tools and using them. She doesn't get the credit for my hard work. What she gets is the credit for the work she put in to help me do the hard work. But ultimately, it's not her. It's why I don't really believe in like, oh, this is my teacher. I love a mentor. But I don't like you giving all your credit to the person who guided you, because like their guidance is bullshit if you don't do any of the work. You have got to do the work. And sometimes I do think people pretend to do the work and just say like, I love my mentor. I love my mentor. But like, you're not actually getting better. So either your mentor sucks or you suck. You know, there's something about it. I don't know.
But I think that's it. It's fighting your flesh.
Girl, I don't know
every
what God
single
has for
day.
you.
Oh
Jesus.
God, let me drink my water. I'm so.
Because the mental
Oh.
capacity and the mental strength that you're building right now in this season is nuts.
It's nuts.
I don't know what it's for.
It's
I don't
mind-blowing.
think you know.
I don't know. Don't scare me, sis.
No, it's
I'm
gonna
about
be
to
crazy.
unzip. I'm sweating.
I'm like,
What do you think
Lord.
is happening?
I don't know.
You never seen me like this.
No, I've never seen you like this. I've never seen you this like just on it. Like,
But what did I say?
I'm like, Jesus.
you
You said go get a piece of
She
sushi.
said, "Are you hungry?" I said, "Yes." She said, "You don't want to eat?" "Yes, I do want to eat." Come on, I wish you could eat in LA. I can't eat in LA. I mean, the first 3 days of my birthday trip in Saudi Arabia, I was out there with Connor. We were out there for 7 days. The first 3 days, I'm in a different country with amazing food. I did not eat for 3 days. I don't know what's going on with me.
But the thing about that, what just triggered in my brain.
I was fasting. I'm not, y'all. I didn't just not eat. I'm not trying to be skinny. I'm not on Ozempic. I'm not anorexic. It's a spiritual fast, spiritual reason.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Again, just because you're doing something hard doesn't mean it's helping you or that it's making you better, right? Like, just because you call it a spiritual fast doesn't mean you're not starving yourself. Now, I understand as a person who loves to meditate and as a person who loves trying unorthodox ways of challenging the self and growing from it, I understand putting myself through something that's hard for the benefit of learning about myself, but it's the connection of her saying she's a chosen one, that God is inspiring her, that he's making the decision when she stops, that makes me think like this doesn't feel very grounded or healthy. But I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. I don't think God is real. And I think if you think God is real and you're doing this, then you're either hearing voices, you've convinced yourself you have a spiritual relationship with something you don't actually know about, or 3, you're just coping and making it sound better than it is so you can get away with starving yourself without being called anorexic. I don't know. Right? Like, I don't know. And this is, I understand, like, as a person who used to count calories, why people would be like, this is an eating disorder behavior. I just need you to know, I believe you can go on a water fast and not have an eating disorder. I believe you can count calories and not have an eating disorder. But I'm saying with all of the data that I see, I'm not seeing that. And I say this as somebody who used to count calories but doesn't do it anymore. I count calories because I don't understand how much I'm eating. Not because, girl, let me tell you this, I do not skip a meal. Like, I might, even if I'm in a calorie deficit, I might pick like different things to eat, but I'm eating. Like, if I'm in a calorie deficit, I'm still eating. I'm just eating different food because ain't no way I'm going to skip eating. You know what I mean? Like, but again, I'm not trying to judge the universal 8 billion people on the planet as if always doing it is wrong. But given the context, I don't know that I like the framing of this, right? Yes, chat, the why is everything. Why is everything? Like, why are you doing it? How is this helping you? You know what I mean? Right. Chad says, as an ex-anorexic, what's the difference? Intent only? I think so. Like, I think it's about the intent. Like, I think from my understanding of eating disorders, because I've never had one, there's a lot that goes into an eating disorder that makes, like, addiction. Like, addiction is an addiction. Well, for Brittany, at least, when I think of categorization, I do think, like, things have a different why, right? Like, that's the problem is labeling something. The problem with the label is that it insinuates a lot that's not there, maybe. Like, I've had people be like, oh, I'm an addict. You're not an addict, bro. You're a loser who couldn't get out of bed. And so you made an excuse about doing drugs instead of paying your rent. You're not an addict. You just were irresponsible. Like, I think there's the difference between being addicted and then actually being addicted. I think a lot of people just like to give themselves a title too because they want to act like they're having a struggle. And like, either you're struggling or you're not struggling, but everybody struggles. Do you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to be like clear that every category is different, but you have to decide which one you're in to really help yourself. When you're alone in your room, you got to be honest with yourself. Are you an addict, bro? Or are you just making an excuse so you don't have to own up to the fact that you're actually not like engaging in responsible behavior and you're spending your money in different ways? Or if you have an eating disorder, do you have an eating disorder? Or like, what's happening? I think we just don't know. Right. And I think, I think like I don't know about her journey. So I'm just going off the information. But I really think for me, knowing exactly why I'm doing something is really important for me getting better. Because if I treat my issues with the wrong label, then I'm not going to get better. But that's maybe my autistic brain, right?
Going through transitions with your friends, that you don't really, you understand, because I understand 1000% of what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still miss the things that you used to do, or
You connect
that
on.
bonded
Yes.
you together. Like our
Yes.
thing is food.
Our thing is
we go to
food.
restaurants and we order 10, 15 things.
She ordered something. We were at the mall yesterday. I was like, open the bag. Let me smell it.
I was just so, I wanted you to smell it. I was
She's like, bite the
please,
fry.
no,
Well, she
seriously.
doesn't tempt me or force me, but
Dip it.
she's like, you don't want to eat? You know, like we eat together. We laugh together.
Actually, great point from chat. If she does this regularly, it does count as a chronic in a sense. She said she did it again last year or something. Like, how often are you doing this? Is God telling you to fast every 6 months? Every 3 months? I know, you know what I mean? That's the question. And do you have anorexia, but you're hiding it by saying it's a spirituality? Something is wrong. Listen, in my opinion, I don't know what it is. I'm not a medical professional, but going on a fast in the name of Jesus, like, I just don't like religion in that sense. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this?
Together. We taste food together. Like it's like
Yeah.
a thing when we eat.
Yeah, and your season of solitude.
Yeah.
It's like last night I had to call somebody else to go to dinner or go out.
Yeah.
Because you're just in your bag of solitude. And
Yeah.
it's like you really have to be able to support your friend.
And by the way, guys, I'll give you an example of why categorization matters. You know how people say like, oh, you're so cluster B or you BPD? BPD is like a disorder in a sense, like you're disordered. The reason I went to therapy is my life was becoming disordered. That's when you know you have a disorder or a disability. Is like my life is being impacted and I need help. So that's the question is like, are you just having a bad moment or do you have a thing that you need help for? You know what I mean? And so I think that's the question I would ask myself, and not even just her, but like myself, like, what do I need? Because, you know, throughout my life, people tried to help me, but they didn't know how to help me because they weren't medical professionals. That's why you can't go to your friends for therapy. They're not medical professionals. So if you've used your friends, family, if all the resources in your friend group, they're not helping, you need to go to a professional. I needed a professional, somebody who studied this to identify, label, and help me. You know what I'm saying? So that's something else to take into consideration.
During those seasons, because it's like, and it's challenging.
It is.
Because you're turning into somebody different.
Jesus.
You're different. And I'm like, who is she becoming? I don't even know. You're so different.
Oh, you know what's so funny? Is this clip was going viral on TikTok, but the context of it made it sound like her friend was saying it in a bad way. But in this context, it sounds like she's saying it in a good way. Like, wow, you've changed so much. Like, who even is she? In comparison to her toxic life. But the TikTok trend, that's why I want to see it in full context. The TikTok trend was making it sound like her friend was like, you've changed. You're not the same. See how the internet wants to make women hate each other for no reason? Let's keep listening though, because it's going to get controversial even more. But this is what I'm trying to say. I had a feeling those TikToks might not be as contextually true. So let's see.
What ways? This is crazy. We've never talked about this.
You're just different. Like you're everything.
Am I different in any bad ways that you think I need to like?
Bad?
Yeah. Are there like any red flags different or different in like what? Like tell me. Like
No, I think the only red flag would be that you're so inner right now that it is about you. And I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing.
Okay.
I see that as like, this is just the season you're in and something that you're navigating.
Okay.
And I don't even think you don't even know all that it is.
kind of like when you say about me like a selfish thing kind of.
I don't know if I would say selfish, but I think
see.
you're just how we consider everybody else. We consider you, like you're considering you.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of a
You feel
selfish
like that?
season.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that, but I can see.
Yeah.
I do feel like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't use the word selfish, but I see how that can be selfish.
Or
though.
feel selfish too.
Selfish is a subjected word based off of a bubble. I would say self-focused versus maybe selfish. But, you know, if we're going to say like, yeah, I'm being selfish about me right now, like I am, but I think that's a defense. I think when people are like, you're so selfish and you know, you're just taking care of yourself, you might say like, well, then I'm selfish. But by definition, selfish is at the expense of others. So for the context of this conversation, I would say that she sounds like more like she's helping herself and she's working on herself and she's trying to build herself. And that might look like it's coming at the expense of everyone around her. I think about this from an autistic lens, how like, my friend, I had to leave them on red for like 2 weeks. And I messaged them and said, hey, my sister just left. I'm still recovering. I'm still getting spoons. I'll look through your messages and respond when I can. And my friend's like, don't even worry about it. Absolutely cool. Cause like we're all neurodivergent. It's fine. But it's like one of those things where I tell you this when I tell you this, I am so busy right now with the amount of limited spoons I have. Getting back to people's text messages is crazy spoonage drainage. And my friends know because, of where I'm at, that it's fine and I'll get back to them when I can. But for other people, they're like, well, don't you want to prioritize your friendships? Like we are prioritizing our friendships and our work by saying, I'll get back to you in a second because nothing you sent me was an emergency. You can fucking wait. And also thank you for waiting because I really have to pay my bills this month and I got to work. Because remember, like at the end of the day, like I think the best and healthiest friendships are ones where you're understood, not ones where you have to do a social script based off somebody else's friendship. So when I look at their friendship, I don't want to project my friendship standards onto them. I just want to understand what's expected. And I think that's the thing is like, you can call it bad. You can say she's a bad friend for your bubble. And again, like maybe she's a bad friend for you, but I am curious if she is really a bad friend or if was the internet just saying like, I feel like this is bad. She's being a bad friend. I don't know. So let's see.
To a friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
don't think it's bad. I think it's just something that the cost that you have to pay right now. I don't think it's something that you necessarily even want to do either.
Wow.
But it's just the cost that you have to pay. Yeah. And sticking beside your friend during those times
You've
is
been
like,
so supportive though.
Thank you.
Hold on. Chat's, hold on. Let me, okay. You said, really, I didn't know selfishness definitionally requires hurting others. I've identified as selfish for a long time, as I recall the label in a kind of way. I mean, I've done that too. I've tried to reclaim the word selfish, but here it says concerned excessively or exclusively with oneself, seeking or concentrating on one's own advantages, pleasure, and well-being without regard for others. So, you know, it says arising from concern with one's welfare and advantage in disregard of others. You know, Chet says say self-assured. Self-assured is confidence. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'm not sure why you're using that word. Does that word mean something else in your bubble? Self-assured has nothing to do with what she's talking about because she's talking about an action. Self-assured just means I'm confident. I'm self-assured, but it has nothing to do with whether or not I'm in action. Self-assured is not an action. It's a state of being. So she's saying I'm being selfish, which is a state of action. I'm being self-focused, which is a state of action. Being self-assured is not a state of action. It's how you think of yourself. So I think self-assured doesn't make sense in this context. But I would say like you can reclaim the word selfish, right? But I would just say like I'm prioritizing myself with the hopes that it doesn't come at the expense of my relationships. But if you need something, let me know. Like the other day I texted a friend. I had a arrangement with them and I said, hey girl, I hate to cancel on you last minute, but I'm really running out of time to do things. And I just, if you're, you know, can we reschedule our call? And I said, hey, just a heads up though, if you're going through something, if you really need me, I will show up for you. But if it's not an emergency and we're just doing a catch up call, is it okay if I talk to you in a few weeks? And my friend was like, for sure, girl, no problem. Nothing's going on. Everything's fine. I'll talk to you then. I was like, okay, cool. And this allows me to reach out to my friends and say, I'm so sorry, but like, if I take 2 hours out of my day to do this with you, it's going to throw me so out of fucking whack. I'm going to feel like I can't catch up with anything. And it's just like, it's hearing where I am in the moment and my friends saying like, I understand you. Now, to be fair, all my friends are, not all of them, a lot of my friends are neurodivergent. So when my neurodivergent friends especially hear me say that, they know what I'm saying. They're like, I've had those days. I know those thoughts. I know exactly what you're talking about, right? So I just really appreciate when people in my life understand that, especially when you're in the, like, when you're neurodivergent and you're doing a project and any interruption into that project comes in, it will throw you off for the next 5 or 6 hours. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I can't just get right back into what I was doing. If I'm editing a video and I get an interruption, even 10, 15 minutes, it can fuck me up for the next 3 hours sometimes. And that's why I tell you I'm disabled, because like, as I get older, any transition, any fuck up in my schedule can make me feel like, holy shit, now I have to do something else. And I make it through, I manage, but people don't see what happens behind closed doors. So when your friends are there and they see it, it just means so much. It just means so much when your friends see it and say like, I totally understand that even having a catch-up call with me will make it so you might struggle to get back into work today. And I know you really have deadlines to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Chet says, you're making so much sense to my brain. I think your friendships sound considerate and kind. I shout out to my friends. Yeah, my friends are really fucking great. That's why we stay friends, you know? Well, let me rephrase. I think we stay friends because we mutually decided to stay friends and we mutually make an effort. But yeah, like I think I'm having probably the best era of friendship right now. I think I'm in the healthiest era of my friendships. Like everybody's good, everyone's stable, everyone's vibing, like everyone's like doing pretty good. I mean, obviously we have people who are struggling in their own way. We all are, but like, I mean, for the most part, like, yeah, my friendships are in a really good place right now. I'm pretty happy with that.
So supportive.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because I don't see myself through your lens. And I haven't had like, there's no tug or war. You just, okay, this is what you're doing. Okay. You know, like you speak when there's something to say though.
I'll be like, listen.
Yeah.
You acting real.
Or like, hey, like you're not being confident or whatever. You tell me.
Yes, chat. Yes, chat. Chet says, right, but if they're struggling, it might be worth the 6 hours gone. Exactly. If my friends are really struggling, then it will be worth taking off work the next day because I can't recover, or it will be worth missing out on some money. Like, and that's why I say, like, if your friend is struggling, like, I remember my friend was going through a breakup a few years back, and I like booked an airplane and flew to her, and I spent the whole week with her as she like moved through this breakup. I worked from her place and I managed, but like, fuck it. Like, if it's going to cost me an airplane ticket, I remember her mom being like, I can't believe you did that for her. And I was like, girl, it's like a very important breakup. This is like a very big deal. Like, of course I'm going to fly. Like, but also my friend needed me to. My friend didn't ask me to, but I knew she needed me to. And I said that. I was like, it sounds like you need me to fly to you. Is that okay that I fly to you? And then she was like, yeah, I think I could really use you. And I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm coming. I'll be there. But if you have a friend every week who calls you and is always in crisis, that's a friend who needs to go to therapy. And that's the difference. Your friends also have to be aware of when to ask for help and like know that you can give it. But you know what I mean? Like you can't just like, I think that's the difference is that I try to maintain friendships with people that are getting better and doing the work. So when they need me to fly out, they're not just taking advantage of me and I'm not taking advantage of them. I would never ask my friend to fly out unless it was like for real a big deal. And also there are going to be those moments in life where it truly is a big deal. I'm going to need you to fly out. Like my partner and I talked about our finances and I said, here are the emergencies that will bite into our finances. So-and-so's parents die. I have to be there for them. I have to be there for them. This person dies. This person's sick in the hospital. This is happening. All of these things, when they happen, because they will happen, I need to be on a plane to America. So we financially put into our budget emergencies for close relatives and friends that we might need to show up for. That in many ways we guarantee we will show up for, because that is what role we're playing as people in our community. So, you know what I mean? I might not be a community member in the sense that I volunteer at the soup kitchen every week, but I'm a community member enough that my finances are being impacted by this futuristic, very realistic thing that will happen when people die, when people have emergency surgeries, when they need support. And this is just like why I say, you know, make sure you know who your casual friends are and make sure you know who your not casual friends are, because I can't show up that way for all my friends. I can only show up that way for certain friends. Not all my friends get me to fly out. No, I can't fly out for all my friends. That's something to think about too. You can't be flying out for every single friend you have. Every single one of your friends has to have their own friend groups. You have yours, they have theirs, and then you have overlap between the two of you. So think about that as well.
However you feel about whatever, but
Yeah.
dang, let's dig more there. Tell me
What?
who I am right now.
You know what doesn't belong in your epic summer plans? Getting burned by your own
Okay, Mint
wireless
Mobile.
bill. That's why you on the nation's sweats. Your get product making mobile.
You're
Available. Taxes and
Interest-
fees extra.
Interesting that she's having this, that she's asking this on a podcast when they haven't had this conversation in private. She's like, tell me about myself. Very interesting.
See Mint Mobile for details.
you're figuring it out. You're shedding the old you. It's like a snake when they have to go through the shedding process and they literally shed their old skin. That's what you physically, mentally, like emotionally. You're just becoming I don't know what you're becoming. You're becoming whoever God has called you to be. I know that.
Okay. Okay. As long as I'm not going down the wrong path.
No, I don't think you're going to. I think that we talked about this. One of the things that we talked about was coming from our friendships, traumas, and all the things that we've experienced within our friendships publicly and all the things.
Yeah.
We had a real conversation a few weeks ago.
You checked me.
And I checked you.
You were like, you sound so mad. You sound so
bitter.
angry. You sound so bitter. Like,
I was over
you were
it.
like, this is not discernment. This is pain.
Yeah. I said, how can Pastor Darius, our pastor, said something and I'll never forget it. He was like, people want to say that they're discerning things, but why is it that you only can discern when somebody bad?
When something's bad.
Or something's not going right? Why can't this person ever discern when this is a good relationship in my life? Why can't you discern when this is a great opportunity and this is a door that I'm supposed to walk into? Why is it always something? He's like, no, that's superstition. That's actually fear. You're scared.
It's fear.
You're traumatized by a relationship.
And so many women go through that.
Interesting. Why do you only discern when something's bad? Can't you discern when something's good? Yeah, I feel like it's easier sometimes to know when something is bad than to know when something is good. I remember when I was courting my partner and I went to my brother and I said, I'm feeling very overwhelmed right now because I think I found my person, but I also know that I could be repeating a pattern and I don't want to repeat that pattern. So I need you to check me. And I said, do you see me repeating a pattern or do you think this might be my person? And it was overwhelming. Like I remember crying on his couch, just like feeling overwhelmed by the stress. I wasn't sad. I was overwhelmed with a lot of things. One, I didn't expect to find my person in this short of time. You know, I'd been single for 3 years and I didn't really expect to find my person or to run into them. I kind of had a different trajectory in mind at the time. I was getting diagnosed. I was really sick. Like there was a lot going on, but I remember sitting on his couch and just feeling like, I think this might be my person, you know, in the same way that his wife is his person. And I was like, I like want to make sure, I think this is my person, but I want a set of eyes on this that I trust to be objective. What do you think? And he was like, well, so far it sounds good. Let me ask you all the questions you haven't thought of yet. And I was like, okay. And he asked me all these questions and it was like really good. And then he met my partner and that went really well. They really like each other. And then it was like, yeah, like this is, I think you can trust yourself. I think you're making like a good choice. And it was like really nice. And there's something really important to ask the right person in your family. That's the important part, right? Make sure you're asking the right person, because I couldn't ask anybody else. Not my sister, not my other brothers, not my friends. The only person who could help me out with this is Farm Brother. He's the only person who has the right level of discernment for this task. He specializes in, what does my brother specialize in? He specializes in calling out bullshit. He's very good at calling out bullshit when he sees it. He is so good. He sniffs it out like a dog, bro. He'll hear somebody say something and be like, what's that? Like, honestly, in another life, he should have been a YouTuber, you know? In another life, he should have been a content creator who's like, what was that? So, and him and I are very similar, but, you know, sometimes you can't see it for yourself. And I needed the sibling that's like really good at calling shit out. And yeah, it was really good. So I understand this desire to have people call you out. Just make sure it's the right person. Because if it's the wrong person, they're going to give you the wrong advice. If it's the wrong person, they're going to project their own values into the conversation. If it's the wrong person, they will send you on in the wrong direction, right? Yes, chat, we love Farm Brother. We do. We love him.
That whether it's a nigga, whether it's a friend, you get hurt and now you move with this like this
fear.
Guard up, this fear, this anger, you're broken, you're hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't want to ever move like that. I think about all the things I did in my past for people, for friends, for niggas, for family, for the wrong people. The money, I done gave people money. I done bought houses. I done paid for divorces.
Now think about how I feel as your friend.
And then let me tell you, I'm gonna get there. And I've done all that. And then the right people come around that have the purest heart, that love you so much, and you're stifling and you're looking and you're paranoid and you looking people up and down and you're it's anxiety.
Oh, okay. I already know what clip is coming up that made people so upset with her, but now I'm seeing the context and I'm getting her more and more. Okay, I get it. So she had no boundaries. She was giving of herself, of her finances. She was letting people overstep her boundaries. She wasn't putting down her boundaries. Okay, I see it now.
that's not coming from a healed place. It's coming from, like you said, bitterness.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like a guard is up.
Yeah.
I've never been like that in my life. And I feel like I'm coming out of that slowly.
Yeah, I think
but there
you are.
was a little moment where I had it, like I was heavy. I was like, and I was aware. I was like, I do not want to be like this.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I hear it in my tone. Like, I agree with you. I can't even say I disagree with you. I feel it.
Yeah. You
It's
were like,
pain.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's catch it.
Yeah.
Let's catch it.
Yeah. It's,
That's
you were
what it,
swallowing it though, because you didn't have nothing. Okay.
But what were we going to say and think about how I feel as your...
I mean, this was the hardest season of my life this last year.
Okay, let's see.
And sometimes from the public perception, it's like being a best friend with a celebrity. Everybody thinks that, oh, because you're connected to this person, then your life is just as grand as theirs, or you got
Or you got it, or they
finances.
helping you.
Baby, when I tell you, didn't have a job, living with my parents, a single mom, all this happened to me this past year.
Jesus.
And then it's like to not have resentment in my heart towards you because I saw you do this for other people. I saw you give a check to somebody to help them through whatever they went through. And it's like, God, like I love him. That's my soul. And I can't nobody didn't give me a handout, but guess what? That wasn't your responsibility. God had to take me through that for my own season, for my own thing. I had to get my car repossessed.
Jesus.
I had to go through the food stamps line. I had to be on Medicaid because whatever I'm building my story too. But it's like, as a friend somebody who has it, it's hard to digest because everybody around you, nobody would they're probably shocked that I'm even saying this right now. All this year.
In less than 12 months.
What? But I said all that to say, like, I don't even know what was it?
Just not being resentful. And it's both.
Okay, pause. That was the clip that was getting people upset. Okay, a few things. Let's unpack. Let's unpack. So first, separate from this conversation, I want to say that your friends are not responsible for paying your bills, and neither are your parents. So let's start there. No one is responsible for paying your bills, generally speaking, period. Okay. And then on top of that, when you exist in a community, you are not entitled to the community showing up for you in an entitled way, but you should be able to rely on your community showing up for you in a way that they can. So, example, my community over the years has shown up by loaning me money that I paid back or gifting me money, like from my parents. My parents are basically the only people who've ever gifted me money, right? And I'm very grateful for that because, like, that's a very big deal. But my friends, if they gave me money, I paid back, as an example. I've had friends or family that let me stay with them when I needed a place to stay. That's my community showing up for me, right? Okay. Her parents showed up for her and let her stay at her parents' house, which is your community showing up for you with your kid. That's valid. I have had to stay with my parents too, right? Stayed with friends and family, and I've absolutely had people show up for me in that way. I think it makes sense that you would go to like family, like biological family first in a big way before asking maybe a friend. But then in some ways, it might be inappropriate to ask some of your friends for some of those opportunities for a lot of different reasons. Like one time I stayed with a friend whose mom let me stay at their house, very giving, very charitable. But eventually the mom was like, okay, it's time for you to go. Or I had a couple of friends I stayed with as roommates and they were like, okay, Britt, you've overstayed your welcome. It's time to go. All of that is valid. I am grateful for the time I had with them. And I always felt like it made sense for my time to eventually come to an end. And I'm glad they were comfortable enough voicing that opinion because, yeah, I was in a bad place, but I wasn't meant to see out my bad place in these homes. So that's so valid. Now, eventually I did stay with my bestie's parents at my worst time in life. And I stayed with them until I got my shit together. And then once that happened, it was a lot better. But reminder that I had to learn to get my shit together for all of my 20s. So that was the beginning. That was like 22-year-old Brittany was, quote, getting her life on track again. And it took another 8 years for me to actually become stable. So it took me a really long time, right? So I think that's really good. I'm trying to think of the situation. Just because your friends are like, I make it a point, as an example, for anybody in my life who has money to not make them feel like our relationship is predicated on the reality that they have money. So I try very hard to make sure that if anyone in our life has money, we make an effort to never make them feel like that's why they're our friend. So if they take us out to dinner, we take them out to dinner. If we do stuff, we just want to make sure that we just want to make sure that everybody in our life knows that you are important to us because you exist, not because you have money. Right? I think what B. Simone is saying is during her most toxic years, she didn't have boundaries and let people take advantage of her. And so in her healthier era, this last year or whatever, she didn't want to go back into that. And so as much as her adult friend was struggling, her adult friend had the resources she needed to go through a moment in life. Because if she was on food stamps, she was on Medicaid, she was living with her parents, then asking B. Simone for money would have been highly inappropriate. Because what kind of money are we talking about? Are we talking about rent for the next 6 months? Your friends shouldn't be paying your rent. Maybe for a few months, maybe if they have it. But like realistically, I can't think of a situation in which it'd be appropriate for my friend to pay my rent. Maybe 1 month that I pay them back. But like, she has parents. She was staying with her parents. That's a really valid place to stay. It is probably even better for their grandbaby because now they get to hang out with her grandbaby, right? So like, just, I don't know. I know why people might have saw this clip and thought something of it, but B. Simone is even saying like she doesn't have a lot of liquid, right? So I don't know. Chad says that's interesting. That's the interesting part. It seems like Simone was doing that for others. She wasn't giving money to other people. She was abusing herself financially by giving what she didn't have to others. She didn't have that money to give because she doesn't have it now. Having money to give is very subjective. And that's why they say don't talk about money with friends, right? They say don't share money with friends because people might think, well, you have it, you should pay my bills. First of all, that entitlement is not cute. And second of all, you don't know my finances. You don't know what I have in my bank account. You don't know what other families I'm taking care of. Like, and that's why I say, make sure you know, right, who to give money to. Chat says, doesn't she have money now or is it tied up in assets? She's saying it's tied up in assets. But even if she had money, your friend, even if you have money, no one is entitled to it. If you give it of your own blessing, that's fine. But if you have a problem with your friend not giving you their money, I really think that has more to do with you. Because you have to decide if you want a friend in your life that doesn't give you money when you think they have it, but it's one thing to think you're entitled to your friend's money. Do you know what I mean? Chad says, I wonder if this friend is a good friend, that she didn't feel pressured to help. Well, I wonder if that friend is the other girl is a good friend for not asking her for money. Because I think asking someone for money that you'll pay back is one thing. Asking someone for money because you think you're entitled to their wealth is bullshit. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm not getting entitled. I'm not getting entitled from either of them. I'm getting both of them are going through it. Both of them are figuring out their boundaries. And both of them probably feel the pressures of wanting to come off richer than they are because of the bubble they're in. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm actually not getting that much toxicity from this dynamic yet. I'm actually getting, I'm okay with this. You know, Chet says, right, I was just thinking about paying for divorces part. Yeah, but I consider anything she did in her toxic life as toxic. Anything she did as a toxic person, including paying for friends' divorces, was probably toxic. Why the fuck are you paying for your friends' divorces? That's fucked up. Why would your friends even put you in the position to pay for their divorces? Did they pay you back? Did they give it back? Did it come back to you? Or were you being financially abused by the people around you? You know what I mean? I don't like it. So like, I could never think of a situation where like, hey, I got myself into the situation. Can you pay for it? That's crazy. Chet says, I heard she's paying for her new man's divorce. She said she's been celibate for 2 years. If she's dating somebody and she's still paying for people's like bills, I think she should talk about it. Look, I don't even think you should pay your parents' bills. Like, I need you to hear me. You are not responsible for paying your parents' bills. If you would like to help out, if you would like to pay for your parents' bills and it works within your values, pay for your parents' bills. But I do not think you're responsible for paying for your parents' bills. Like, to be clear, I think you should do things out of the goodness of your heart, not out of like ruthless obligation. And I think that's why when you don't do it, it shows your character in a way for some people, not for everybody. Right? Yes, chat, she was financially abusing herself, didn't have to give. This was canon for me. Listen, as somebody who's paid for people's stuff on occasion, I never felt taken advantage of because I never did it like in a way that was outside of my values, but I have given people like $1,200 in cash and just said like, forget about it. It never happened. Because for me, like I had it, I could give it and I never regretted it, but I couldn't see myself paying someone's rent or paying for someone's divorce or paying for somebody's like, I don't mind paying for stuff if I have it to give. I mind being asked when I don't have it to give. I mind the entitlement of like, you make money. Can I have money? It's like, okay, first of all, you do not know my money finances. Do you know what I mean? But like, it is one of those things where I don't like the entitlement. I'm sick of the entitlement. You know, that's what I don't like, but I'm not getting that. So I'm going to say that the internet twisted this and it sounds like they're friends because they were saying like she's homeless, blah, 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 blah. First of all, food stamps are there for you. We pay into this fucking system. Use food stamps if you need it. Okay. We pay into the system. Get on that government assistance if you need it. But your friends, you know, aren't here to pay your bills. But it's okay to ask friends for help if they have it and if you pay them back and if it's understood. Because again, like we're all adults on our own journey. And sometimes we do have to go through financial hard times to figure it out. But make sure you ask for help if you really, really need it. And like I said, this woman, her parents came through. So like, what are we talking about?
It's you knowing, oh, that's not your responsibility. And it's me knowing I can help the right people.
Yeah. But the flip side of that is like, okay, not me. Everybody has their own lesson.
Right.
Mine is like, okay, don't be resentful. But you were trying to fight through bitterness or unforgiveness, whatever.
I did that already.
Right. But it's like, okay, if God told you to give Shekinah some money,
right,
would you listen or would you allow would you allow what you did in the
resentment
past
and the bitterness
to come between that? Everybody has responsibility in
not even Shekinah some money, anything. If God said,
I'll give you an example because she's right. Like, would you judge it off something you did in the past? Okay, so in the past, I would have let my siblings come live with me, but now you can't come live with me as my siblings. I told all my siblings, I love you. I know in the past when you guys have had hard times, you've come and lived with me. You can't come live with me anymore. So I'm going to need you to get your shit together. And you know what I mean? Like you need to get your shit together. In the meantime, I will try to get my finances together. So if God forbid you're in an emergency, we can figure out a living situation. But I had to put down, because, you know, I got married, I moved countries. I now have in-laws to take care of. Like realistically, we're worried about like where our in-laws going to live. What if they're chronically ill? What if they're disabled? What if they're in a home? You know, like so many of our moms and dads took care of their elderly parents. Like what if we do the same? Like we have different responsibilities now. And I think the part of healing that is so hard for people is that you do heal in such a way in which you have to protect the things you've built, because unhealed people will try to tear it down unknowingly and sometimes not even maliciously. But if your friends aren't healing as well, then they might unknowingly tear down what you've built because they don't understand what it took to get there.
It just because you were heartbroken, God said, go, that's your husband. But now you fearful because the last nigga cheated. You done missed out on the whole blessing. The whole blessing. Yep. You can't let the past pain and the past heartbreak and the past relationship breakup and the past anger and sadness and brokenness keep you from doing it again, trying it again.
Oh, Lord.
Trying it again. Trying it again with the right people, with the right friend.
Trying it again with the right people, including but not limited to your Christianity. Maybe Christianity isn't the answer, girly. Maybe this 9-day fast isn't the answer, but that's okay. You can just try again with something else later. But she's right. The greatest thing you can give yourself is the ability to try again. Healthier and better the next time.
With the right man, with the people that truly love you. I literally talked about that. I said, I want to do what I used to do with I told you I missed that.
You did.
Oh my God, yearning for it. And I know God is going to bring that back tenfold, but just.
That was another point in our relationship.
Yeah.
Recently. Oh. I have this opportunity and I called you and I told you about it. And you were just like, okay. Mm-hmm. And you called me back.
I called her right back, y'all. I was so convicted. I was so convicted.
You were like, I didn't like how I felt when you told me that. And I was like, what do you mean? You were like, I don't know what it is. I'm talking this out in real time. But whatever it is, I don't like what I felt. And I said, did you feel jealous? And you were like, I don't think I feel jealous. But like, will we be able to do what we did before? Yeah. Will it happen for us again?
Yeah.
And that's when that's how we got on the conversation of you letting go of the hurt and not being traumatized by your past.
Because we went through all the emotions. Like, are you angry? Are you sad? Are you jealous? I was like, I'm not jealous because I don't want what you have. I'm sad and I'm angry and I'm upset that
Wait,
I'm not doing it with me.
Yeah.
that is jealousy. Funny enough, envy is wanting something she has, and jealousy is the fear of losing what you've already had. So she actually is jealous. She's afraid of losing what they have together and being replaced by something else. Envy is wanting what she had. So actually she is jealous, but that's okay. That's okay. Most people confuse jealousy and envy. It's not a big deal. But it's the fear of losing the connection you have with somebody. I'm afraid that actually talking about sobriety, it's often pretty common that when you start getting sober in particular groups of people, they will be fearful and want you to relapse so you don't lose the friendship with them. Because realistically, a lot of us as we grow, we lose friendships, and that's okay. Like, that's okay. It happens. But like sometimes it can feel like I want to do everything possible to keep this friendship, but you can't, and that's okay. It's okay to move along. It's okay to have a friendship with somebody and do something different in the future. And that's the hardest part of like career building. Actually, one of the reasons I keep my life, like my personal life, basically offline is because it does impact things. Like I used to try to incorporate like family or friends. I'd done videos with family or friends or whatever. And it didn't work for me because once my friends got into my work, they started to have opinions or feel the wrath of it in a way that I'm like, I can't have you come to work with me. Right. I love you guys. So I took down all the videos for the most part. I think I have a couple videos of my brother, Mark, but and I took down a bunch of videos of people because I was like, y'all need to go live your real lives and leave me alone at work, because incorporating them into my work it just became like weirdly like uncomfortable and unsafe and kind of toxic for some of them because they felt like entitled to tell me how to do my job. And I was like, oh, no, I do not want anyone to feel entitled enough to tell me how to do my job. That's why I don't collab. It's why I don't have a co-host. It's why I don't want to work with people who are like, hey, your career is my career. Nope, my career is my career. Like my career is my career. And I'm doing perfectly fine. Thank you. So I love a good collaboration. That's why I say I don't want to collab with anyone who's not like got their own thing going. Like, because if you have your own thing going, then my thing is never going to be a threat to your thing. And we're both going to be confident that we're both showing up as ourselves. You know what I mean? And so I think with this relationship, it's really difficult, right? Because, well, they're working together and they're friends. And there's money involved and there's status involved. And what if you're the friend who never becomes the main character and you might always feel secondary to your friend, and so it feels bad? Yeah, there's a lot of layers here. You got to be really secure to enter into this dynamic.
Like, we're not working together.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have that. Y'all, let me tell you something. Anybody that's in my circle, I want to work with you. I want to put you on. I'm putting you in position. I like doing it together.
You do.
How can we do this together? How can we make money together? How can we build together? How can we grow together? How can we all pitch in together? How can we be millionaires? I want to do it together.
Yeah.
And there was a point in my life where I had that and it was crumbled. So I feel like since that has ended, that season, I've always yearned for it again. But it's just been a season of solitude for 2 damn years.
Maybe the longest season ever.
The longest season ever.
Interesting. Okay, chat says, I think you could interpret their God talk like a gut and universe, not as much as culty delusions and hearing voices. I could see that perspective where it's her gut telling her how to interact with this fast and the universe guiding her through the process to learn more about herself. Is that what you mean? I could see that.
Yeah.
And I think, I know that's what it was, but I was so convicted. I called you right back. I was like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Like, your friend, she just told me she was doing something so bomb, so great. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I was like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
This has to be out of my heart.
For sure.
Like, what?
But if we just
Okay, good holding herself accountable, good telling the truth, good calling her back, good.
did that, nobody's looking for the perfect friend.
Man.
I just want my friends to be aware
And honest.
I'm okay if you feel a little jealous.
Address it and fix it.
Say it.
Pray about it.
Literally.
Let's purge your heart.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. And so many relationships would last and outstand the test of time if we just did
Took
that.
accountability. I'm so proud of us for how we're doing this in this
Bro.
season. I'm like, are you okay? You looked at me kind of funny.
No,
like,
for
what are you
sure.
feeling?
Wait, that's so autistic coded. Is B. Simone autistic? Look at that autism coded.
Of us for how we're doing this in this
Bro.
season. I'm like, are you okay? You looked at me kind of funny. Like, what are you feeling? Are you feeling
your left eye? Are you?
Yo, is she autistic? That's so autistic coded. That's so neurodivergent coded. You know how I feel about content creators? Chat says I wasn't going to say, girl, that's how I feel about content creators. Like, are you autistic, ma'am? That's so, genuinely though, my strongest, best relationships are with people who, when things get uncomfortable, we talk through it. And shout out to the girls and the gays and the theys, because my friendship season has been so strong this season because of the way we're able to talk through it. It's amazing. Like, I'm so impressed with how healed and growing my friends are. Like, they're always growing in their strength, and they are showing up, because as we get older, as we get older, it will be harder to stay friends. As we age, it is harder to stay connected to people. And so it takes so much effort to stay connected to people. And that means you have to face your own demons and face your old trauma and face your own issues, and hear your friends when they say, hey girl, I think you're making this about you, but about me, but about this, So I think this seems nice so far, girls. And, we're only halfway through, but I feel like the internet ran with those clips and is deeply unhealed with the way they reacted to them. Because right now I'm feeling like, oh, thank God, someone's saying the things out loud. Someone's talking about how hard it is, how you do have to have the conversations, how you do have to hold yourself accountable, how there is so much trauma. So, okay.
Mad. It's like, no, nigga, I'm not.
I'm sleepy.
Literally.
I'm hungry. Damn. We've had some, yeah.
Because we both were in our own seasons of solitude too.
Yeah.
While I was going through that and rebuilding myself, we both have been rebuilding, but rebuilding different parts of us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember how I say I'm always in I'm in my research era. I'm in a part of my solitude era, not fully, but I'm getting closer to I would say I'm more in it. And it's so important. And it's so about building yourself up to be a good friend, to be present in people's lives. Because so many of us, especially those of us who are first daughters or caretakers or parentified in any way, sometimes we, at the expense of ourselves, give to everybody else. Especially when you're the person that everybody calls, right? When things go wrong, eventually you have to be like, you can't call me for this. You got to call somebody else. And that's really hard. But at the end of the day, if everyone's calling me and I've got all these dozens of people that think they can call me, when am I ever going to take time for myself, right? Yeah. Chet says, does anyone know how long they've been friends? I would also like to know that. I don't know. I don't know if they mentioned it and I didn't hear it. It sounded like a long time though. Maybe I'm wrong, but it did sound like a long time.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but communication, self-awareness, constant conversation, constant check-ins. You got to be on some well, Mesh, do you think you're a good friend?
I do.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I try to adjust when issues are brought to me. I think that's what makes a good friend. I try to hear my friends. I try to, and I mean, I guess I can't say I'm a good friend because I am a friend to me. For sure. I do think I'm a good friend. I treat myself very well, and I'm working on treating myself even better. But I feel like my heart is pure. Yeah. I feel like I have good intent. And when there is an issue brought to me, I try to adjust.
Yeah.
I take it to heart. I take it to heed.
Yeah.
I take it to heed. I don't even know if that's the right way. I take it to heed.
You've been reading First Kings and
For the record, I think I'm a very good fucking friend. I think I appropriately have my friends on a hierarchy because that's how autistic people do. It's very autistic to put people on a hierarchy so you know who to give attention to. I think I'm a very good fucking friend. I think I've worked really hard to be a good fucking friend, and I think you should work hard to be a friend, and you should wear it with pride so you know. But I think you should be a good fucking friend, and I think you should know when you're being a bad one. And I try very hard to be a good friend, and I make sure that the people who negotiate friendship with me know in which ways I can show up as a friend, in which ways I can't, because you can't show up in all ways in being a friend, right? I've definitely had some friendships tested, some friendships ended because the way they wanted me to show up as a friend, I just could not. I could not do it. And I because it went against my values. That's why I couldn't do it. And that's a good reason to not be friends with somebody. If a friend is asking you to do something that betrays your own values, you, yes, should examine your values and make sure you're on the up and up. But you should also be okay with that friendship ending if it comes at the expense of your values. You know, because again, that whole would you bury a body for me? No, because I'm not burying any bodies for you. That's crazy, bro. You know, Chet said a friend asked you to betray your values. That's crazy. Well, it's not though. It's actually pretty fucking common. Think about it in this way. You're friends with somebody and you bonded on eating barbecue 7 days a week. And then one day you decide to be vegan. And they're like, well, our friendship is kind of predicated on eating meat every day. What do we do about that? This might be a simple values difference of I can't make this work. It sounds stupid, but if this friend doesn't know how to interact with you because food is your shared thing, that might be the end of the friendship. Or An example is like, in my case, it's like my friends are going through like kind of toxic relationships and they want me to be happy for them that they're in a toxic relationship, but like I could never. I will never celebrate my friends being in toxic relationships ever. And so if a friend comes to me and says like, I want you to be happy for my relationship, like, no. But you're an adult and you get to consent to being in a toxic relationship, but like I will never be happy about it. And I won't fake it. Like I cannot fake that I am unhappy. And the friends in my life that have stayed my friends and stayed active in my life are people who go, I know it's toxic and I know you're here for me, but I know you can't be here for my relationship, which is true. I cannot be here for your relationship, but I will always be here for you. And these are two different things to me. And I think sometimes friends don't know the difference. So they'll say, well, if you're not here for my relationship, you're not here for me. Okay. But you are more than your relationship. You're more than this toxic dynamic. You're more than your own problems. And I'm even talking when my friends are the toxic one. I'm talking about when my friends are the toxic part of the toxic relationship. Do you know what I mean? So again, yeah, support isn't one size fits all. Support isn't one size fits all. That's how I feel. Yeah. Yeah. This is a great video. I love this podcast so far. But see how we had to watch the full context? Because when you just see the clips online, it's so easy to run with what you think you're seeing. But the full context makes so much sense for this conversation. And that's why I think the world is so bad at figuring out themselves, because you don't even see your own life in context. You keep looking at it like it's a TikTok. Your life is so different when you look at it in context. That's why in therapy, we learn about the context of our life. Why are you this way? What led you to being this way? How did you make these decisions? Why did you make these decisions? You didn't just fall out of a coconut tree. You exist within the context of everything that came before you.
James, have
Take heed to it. But do you think I'm a good friend? That would be a question for one of my friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything that I can do better in this season,
Yeah.
let's say it right now and let's say it publicly and let's hold me accountable to making those steps.
I think you're an amazing friend. I think you it's the best way I can describe. Okay, this happened.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandma passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I was crying, you let me talk through, and it was the best conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were like, let me know what you need. You know, if you want me to come over, if you want me to bring flowers, if you want me to do this. And it's like, in those moments, I don't want you to say that. I just want you to come over with flowers. I didn't want you to be like,
Jesus.
You feel weird asking somebody to do certain things like that
Wow.
in a moment of grief.
Wow.
So it's like, I don't think you're a bad friend. I think you're great. You're an amazing friend. You're a supportive friend. You're a friend that will offer the clothes off your back. You are always there. I think it's just moments of comfort that I think you can
Show
grow
up
in.
without permission.
Yes.
Wow.
Ooh, show up without permission. Ooh, show up without permission. Like I said with my friend who went through that breakup, she didn't ask me to come. But I did ask her permission to show up because my friend's very private and I didn't want to show up and invade her space. But I will say that because I'm consent-based girly, but I would say that my friend probably would never ask me to do it. But I called her and I said, hey, I'm going to do this thing. Are you going to be okay? Because I'm going to show up. And she was like, yeah, like I could really use that support. And so it allowed me to show up. I try not to invade people's space without their consent. So I do try to touch base. But I do think see, for me, this was the consent conversation in a sense. She's telling her, I'm not always going to be able to ask you to show up, but I give you kind of blanket permission to show up. That's kind of what I'm hearing from this.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. I love that.
Yeah.
I think in past, that's maybe a trauma thing again, though.
Why?
In the past, I felt forced to
And I also think saying, is there anything you need me to do is a little bit passive for somebody who needs you to be a little bit more like, I'm going to come over in an hour with food. You don't have to answer the door. I'm going to ring the doorbell and put the food at the front of the door. You don't even have to see me. You can take the food. You can eat the food. You can throw out the food. I just want to give it to you because I know cooking for yourself might be hard right now. You don't even have to get up. Okay. So I'm going to come over in 1 hour. I'm going to put the food in front of your front door and I'm going to ring the doorbell. I love you. When you're ready, talk to me again. Or when you're ready, reach out. But like I will do what's easiest for both of us in a way that says I'm showing up, but you don't have to then do the work. You know, something like that.
Show up without permission.
did.
It was performing.
It was.
So now I'm like, all right, I ain't get that friend don't want that much. So maybe
And I don't require a lot.
And you don't require a lot.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's full circle.
Wow.
Doing it for the people that deserve it. Doing it for the people that need it. Doing for the people that don't take advantage of it. It's rewiring your brain. It's unlearning. So it's like, I would have done that in the past.
But out of a place of
Fear.
obligation.
Out of a place of fear. So I get that. I can do that.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing too? Oh my God. Do you guys relate to this? How much of your life, how many of your, stay with me here. I'll share my own perspective. I had to relearn that all the ways I showed up for my friends in my toxic era were good, and I was punished by people during that era. And so I thought what I was doing was bad. But what I learned is I was giving it to people that couldn't receive what I was giving them. And when I ended my toxic era into my healthy era, I could then be thoughtful about who I gave this time to. And it comes off like you're being obnoxious or you're not being straightforward or like you're not showing up. But what I've learned is you can't show up for people that aren't going to show up for you. And excuse me. And if you show up for people who aren't going to show up for you, then you have to accept that that's the reality of that. And you can still show up. But I really think relationships need to be like a two-way street. So I had to relearn that I was a good friend and that the way I showed up was good. I just had to learn to show up for the right people. Does that make sense? We're like, there's nothing worse than showing up for people that are ungrateful. So you learn not to show up for people, but I want you to show up for your friendships. That's what I got from that sentence is she felt like she had almost in the past would have shown up for her, but didn't show up because she learned not to show up. But then we have to learn to show up for people, just the right people, you know?
And I think what that
Showing
friend
up
taught
without
you,
permission.
what that friend was teaching you were things that you have to have in your friendship. So
Okay, like what?
like that.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
Okay.
Like that was from a place of whatever control
Fear,
or whatever
yeah.
fear, and you did it out of obligation. But like when you really love somebody and that person is your friend,
You do it.
That's how you show up.
Okay.
Yeah. But other than that, I think, yeah, showing up without what did you say?
Showing up without permission. I love that.
Showing up without permission.
Wow. Okay. Can I write that down?
That's good.
Thank you. I'm going to put it in my notes.
Well, I know what I'm working on.
Okay. Do you think you're a good friend? And why?
I think that I have a pure heart. I think that I'm a nurturing friend. I think that I can grow in my friendships with my communication. I'm bad at my phone. Everybody, I think I lose friends because I'm bad at my phone.
Are we talking to two neurodivergent girlies? Is this ADHD and autism? I'm telling you right now. Is this ADHD and autism as a friendship?
But it's an extra trauma for me. My phone, I get a little anxiety. I do. If somebody calls,
I'm laughing because I know.
you know why?
Yes.
You know why?
Yeah.
Sometimes people will message me and I get the inkling that they're just trying to message me to like say touch base, but they ask me a question. And sometimes I'll write back and be like, you didn't have to ask me a question to touch base. You could have just said, I love you and send a meme. And because when you ask me a question, when you don't even care about the answer, you're just asking to start a conversation, you're wasting my time and yours. And I had to teach my friends, like, I love you. Y'all do not need to send me a question to start a conversation because I will spend time researching and answering this question. And then if you just kind of go, okay, cool, thanks. And then do not waste my time. Just say, hi, how are you? I miss you. Hi, how are you? I miss you. Okay. Like sometimes I really do have to remind people, like, sometimes you could just say hi. You don't, because like, that's why it's stressful for me to get a text message with a question. Because now I'm like, like this is something that I need to think about. Because I don't just want to like, blah, 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 blah. I think about what you're asking me. I think about it. You know, I think about it. It's a lot, you know, it's a lot. So I think the communicating that can be hard for people, you know, so communicating that can be difficult.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw that name on my phone, baby, I would have turned my phone off and say it was dead.
Yeah. So I think, yeah. Do you think I'm a great friend?
I do. I think you have pure intent. I think you love really hard. I think when you say,
Chad says, are there people who think they're bad friends? I feel like everyone thinks they're a good friend. I do think there are people who know they're bad friends. And I think there are people who take it as like a part of their personality. They're like, oh, I'm a bad friend. I don't even care. Like, but I think everyone thinks they're a good friend in the same way that everyone thinks they're a good person. But you know, and also you got to peer review. And that's why, and I'm going to say this out loud, but please don't take it too personal. Okay. I'm going to say it out loud, but don't take it too personal. It's why some people will say, if you don't have any friends as an adult, you're probably a bad friend. But I would say mostly, if you don't have friends as an adult, you probably were neglected as a child. You were probably neglected. And so you are a bad friend. But it doesn't mean it's your fault. But it is your responsibility to see how you were neglected enough to become an adult with no friends. Because no adult should have no friends. It means your parents royally fucked you over and did not socialize you correctly, did not give you any kind of tools, or you are the worst possible person on the planet. And that's probably not true. It is very rare for you to be the worst kind of person. Okay? Right? If you really genuinely have no friends, no social group, no ability to socialize, your parents stunted you. Look at when I say rapists have friends. Rapists manage to have friends. What the fuck is wrong with you? Literal gangbangers have friends. Literally felons have friends. I'm thinking about the Trump administration. Why do you not have friends? Literally, the worst people you know have friends. Men who beat their wives have friends. So what's going on, girls? Like, you know what I mean? Like, something went wrong. Okay? So I think this is why we go to therapy, to figure out, why the fuck did I grow up and not know how to make friends? When the worst people I know have friends. And you know what I mean? Okay, thank you. But yes, sometimes on a rare occasion, you are the worst person everybody knows. I say this is like, definitely, I got somebody in my life where I'm like, I'm glad you lose friends because you don't deserve them. You're the worst person ever. Okay. Chess says, I make friends by literal accident. Girl, story of my life. Story of my life, girl.
hey, you're going to do something, like pray, like, I'll pray for you or intercede. Like, we don't talk about the spiritual stuff. Like, that's a great fucking friend. Wow. Excuse me, Lord. That's a great friend. Like, if I say pray about this, I know you're in your
She said fuck, and she's like, excuse me, Lord.
prayer room praying about it. If like the other day when I was like, oh, we haven't prayed yet, but I'm like, you know, I know
okay.
You're like, okay, like, let me know. Like,
I need to pray. I was like, let's pray.
Yeah, like, let's go. Like, like that is a spiritual covering I know I have with you. I trust you spiritually.
Yeah.
I trust that if God, even what you said to me about the awards, like, we could talk about that. Like,
Are you glad you didn't do that? Or are you?
I don't feel
did you
either
think
way.
about it?
I don't feel like I missed out on anything.
Yeah,
so let's
same.
just say that.
Same.
I don't feel like I needed to.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I don't feel either way. I'm neutral about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, oh, why didn't I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, y'all, that's me and my business partner, Jasmine. And I'm going to give you guys a little BTS on how the LTTA app came about. It all started in 2021 when we launched Close Friends and took over the internet. Baby, this was before Instagram even had subscriptions, okay? What this really showed me is how important community was to my audience.
You know, usually I don't move you into the stuff until I fix it. But
After working on some major projects and taking a trip to London and China, we really started to focus and hone in on the LTTA app.
The vision, our vision.
yes, I love that.
I love it too.
We are nerds when it comes to entrepreneurship and doing roles. We are so excited.
So stay tuned as I take you guys on this journey and show you guys the real, the raw. Building this app was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But I also know and believe it's going to be one of the most beautiful, biggest projects I've ever worked on in my life. We've been working on this for over the past 2 years, countless productions, countless trips, countless meetings, countless Zoom calls, just idea after idea after idea, but it's been so worth it.
It's not starting something new. It's evolving something that was already there.
That we've been working on. Yes. Oh, thank you, God.
Only on the LTTA app. Right now, you guys, the app is invite only, so go to ltta.app to unlock your invite.
But what is the app? Right? What is it? Is it a social media app like Instagram?
Good luck and hope to see you inside.
I was,
LTTA.
I had like I thought I had a vision. I don't.
So let's try this again. A platform designed for women, particularly those seeking personal growth. Uh-oh, is it transphobic though? I can't join anything a Christian makes because you just know it's going to be transphobic. You know what I mean? Okay, here's the thing. Is that also the name of the podcast? Here's the app. Okay, here's the app. Be the first to know. Be the first to know exclusive content launches are coming up. Email. I'm not sure. Interesting.
You did.
I think I did, but she was like, "Are you sure it wasn't the enemy?" I was like, "Well, why would the enemy tell me to do this?" I just saw myself walking down the red carpet holding my Bible. Right?
Well, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, I'll say it. I don't care. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, I was kind of excited about it, but I was a little nervous. And I was like, "That's when I was like, okay, did God tell me to do that?" Because I'm scared. I'm not scared, but I'm nervous to do it. And I was just gonna like walk down the red carpet holding my Bible. On the red carpet, I was like, nobody's ever done this. Like, I don't know if I felt like I was making a statement, or she kind of was like, what is the intent though? And are you sure God told you that? And we went back and like, she challenged me on it.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't want it to be taken as mockery. I don't want it to be taken as like, it's a joke. She's like,
I'm like, you just had the shorts with a blazer.
Yep. I'm like, and I don't give a fuck. Like,
you
I
don't
don't care.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, I really feel like,
So she's really like religious. She's taking a Bible, you know, and it's good that her friends called her out. Like, are you doing this for, you know, that's all good. But yeah, I wouldn't join her organization probably unless I was sure it wasn't transphobic. And that's the thing. It's like ultimately, oh my God. And I want to talk about this. Girls, the queer community is arguing on TikTok and I can't wait to talk about it. But I will just say like, so far their friendship seems fine. That anyone who saw those clips on TikTok and took it out of context, fuck you and your bad fucking opinions. Okay? Fuck you and fuck your bad fucking opinions. Okay? This is why you're failing yourself and your communities because you are not doing your due diligence. And I know people are like, don't watch the full video online. I am looking for context, girls. And trust me, when I say this, these clips going viral is not helping B. Simone, but it is not helping me to take her out of context either. We don't need other women taking women out of context. We do not need to see how cutesy and demure I am. See how researched and demure I am. Okay, I'm not trying to take anybody out of context, even a Christian.
like, it's just like, I feel comfortable. I think it's making, I was like, we went back and forth. I was like, nobody would care if I had Jeremiah 29:13 on my back, but we draw the line at carrying the Bible, like carrying in the word. I can carry a purse, but I can't carry the word. Like, and we just went back and forth and she made me think. She made me think about it. And I'm like, okay, like maybe, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't or whatever. But my point, I ended up not carrying the Bible down the red carpet, which, she was like, all right, what is the intent behind it? And I was like, I think the intent is just, I don't remember what I told you. I texted you.
You were like, I don't know. But, you did. You end up saying that the intent is to.
I was talking it out in real time. Let me see what I text you because I want to know what I said.
I think for me, my point was like, you're a comedian. Like this could be looked at as mockery.
Or people would take it as a joke.
And
then I'm like, I don't give a fuck about people.
Or they could take it as like marketing or manufacturing God or your relationship with God for clicks.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
So I can't hold the.
Honestly, I'd rather have B. Simone based off this podcast repping Jesus than these fucking white nationalist Christians that are promoting and voting for a rapist. Did B. Simone vote for Trump? Because that's going to, you know what I'm saying?
Bible. I can't, so we went, I said, what did I say? You said, I think the intent, but I'm going to make a full circle point, you guys, about this because I want to say why I said it. Blah, 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 blah. Thing else, a purse, lip. I said,
dead air.
Thinking about it, I literally feel like the intent is we hold everything else. A purse, lip gloss, makeup, accessories. I'm talking this out in real time though, because I never thought about it. This is me and this is where I am on my walk, bringing God wherever I go, even to the carpet. I do feel like it's a statement. I don't feel
She could have worn a bracelet.
like the Bible is a prop. It's a visual and the foundation of where I am on my walk. Nobody would say anything if I had a gun purse, but that's the culture. What?
They wouldn't.
But that's the culture.
I mean, I feel like they would. Do you know what I mean? I think they would probably say something if somebody had a gun purse the problem is it does make a statement. She can't get away from the reality that it's going to make a statement. But I wonder if it's triggering her autistic PDA because sometimes I will do this where I go to my partner and I say, I want to do this in public. And he'll say, are you doing this because it makes sense or because you think it will make a statement or does it work within your values? And I'll say, why do anyone to tell me not to do it? Like if I want to do it, I should be able to do it. And he's like, well, yeah, of course you can do it. But like, is it good to do it? And I was like, listen, I just wanted to. And then months later, he'll ask me like, hey, are you glad you didn't do that thing? And I'm like, oh my God, thank God I didn't do that thing. Like in hindsight, thank God I didn't do that thing. So I've made it a rule that if I feel like I'm getting my PDA is being triggered, or if I feel like I'm getting triggered, like where I like, don't tell me what to do for real, then I'm probably not supposed to do it. I feel like I should do it if it works and it feels good. But sometimes you really doubt yourself. You go back and forth with like, is this what I should be doing? And then I think when it's really what you should be doing, there will be a sense of like, this is right. I'm telling you, it's the right time. Even though it's scary, it's the right time. Versus when I get like, if I get too activated by it, it's probably not the right time.
Culture for you. But I was like, this is the first time I thought about that. So I'm answering in real time. If I had Jeremiah 29:13 on the back of my blazer, nobody would care. But we draw the line at holding a Bible. And I was like, whatever. We went back and forth and we were talking, like, you know, having a conversation. But I said that to say, when you feel something, I trust your relationship with God that I listen to you. Like, I could have been just like, okay.
And sometimes that's hard as your friend.
Yeah.
Because you literally told me in that text. And I was like, okay, God, like, I stopped at the gas station and I prayed in that moment.
And that's what I said.
You're like, don't just tell me this because you feel it. Like, I need to know.
I said, I need to know it's from God. Did you pray about it? And if God said it, I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah,
but you have
like,
to
no,
know.
I don't know if God is saying anything or not. I'm just thinking about it outside of me and like what it could be perceived as. Yeah, but that's hard too. It's like in those moments, knowing that your friend trusts you in a way like that your words do carry weight with that person. And it's like, you can't just be.
Can I just say, the reason I think context is so important is because it changes everything about a conversation. And the amount of people that are like, Brittany's taking Ethan out of context. You're taking me out of context. You're coming to a philosophy channel that's talking about ethics and morals and applied philosophy, or applying philosophy that we learned, because applied philosophy, it's its own thing. But like applying philosophy that we've learned. And you're talking about fucking fair use legality in my chat. Do I look like a fucking lawyer to you losers? I'm talking about whether or not this is good community behavior. And you're like, actually, according to statute 352, Ethan is allowed to do this. Go fuck yourselves. We're talking about ethics here, bitch. So obviously, if I'm watching this video, we're talking about how they're showing up as friends. And right now, it seems to be pretty fucking good. And how many people had the audacity to be like, you're taking them out of context? You are taking the conversation out of context. Bro, context matters.
Saying stuff to say stuff. Like, you really actually you have to be prayerful about what you say. And I don't know, that moment, I don't know if I'm glad you did or you didn't.
I don't feel either way about it.
Yeah, me either.
I don't feel like, now that knowing the environment and everything, I don't feel like it would have been bad. Maybe it could have went viral negatively. Maybe whatever. We don't know. We'll never know.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like, damn, why didn't I hold my Bible?
Watch somebody do it next year. And you're going to be like me.
I don't know. I just felt like it was, I put my outfit in ChatGPT and I put her whole.
Wait, this totally reminds me of when the debate bubble, the panel bubble was like, Brittany, I know you do philosophy, but what about the law? Do I look like a fucking lawyer to you? Are you a fucking lawyer? What do you mean about the law? Like, what do you mean? Like, we're here to talk about ethics and morals, the things we actually have control over. They're like, yeah, but ethics and morals inform the law. Yeah, leave that to the fucking lawyers. And you can talk about it when you go vote. But like, what are we talking about? Like, as fucking nobody's on a panel. And you're like, actually, according to the law, bro. I love mentioning the law briefly. But the reality is like, we're not those people. People, stay in your lane.
It was just a beautiful visual to me.
It was.
I saw beauty in it.
It was beautiful.
But the world sees.
I was like, can we get a pocket Bible? And you just, I went to the store. I literally went.
Yeah, she went and bought me a small. She was like,
she had
carry
a big
this
one, and I was like, let me go find a small pocket one. Like, maybe if it just comes up in conversation, it's okay.
I just saw beauty in the. But what is amygdala? What is amygdala?
Amygdala.
I feel like that is what should have gone viral. That's so funny. It's giving neurodivergent.
By Courtney
Amygdala, my bro, her friend, amygdala. You see, everybody perceives differently based off your amygdala. Look it up. Whatever you perceive, you're either going to see the glass half full or the glass half empty. You're either going to see it as a negative and mockery, or you're going to see it as a beautiful statement to represent Christ on the carpet. When I saw them, I was so excited about it. Yeah. I was like, it was beautiful.
But I think for me right now in this season, as I see you walk through the season of solitude, it's like your aura. Yeah. And your light is that.
For sure. And I believe that. I know that. I know that.
And letting people see
any room I walk in. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. But I'm saying that the way I saw it is not the way the world was going to see it. And which is, I get it, which is fine. And baby, at the end
that's the part of the marketing. That's the part of the marketing. Look, Lady Gaga's meat dress was a statement. Like, everything celebrities do is a statement. So if you're going to make a statement, make sure you understand why you're making it, and not just because you think it's cute. Because like that's not enough for the world. That's gonna have you under like look at the way they misquoted her and like made this. The only reason we're talking about this today is because the internet took her out of context, and now I'm here to like check the context. You think the world wouldn't come for her for this photo shoot? And again, I'm not a religious, so I understand she wants to flaunt God and her relationship with him, but she should deconstruct those patriarchal desires to be with a patriarchal God. You know what I'm saying?
The conversation, I said, I'm not doing it. So thank you for
And you
speaking.
didn't like my zip up vibe I brought. You said, "Ooh,
I said, what is?
I didn't know I had zipper."
So the point is, I trust you.
Yeah.
And yes, I think
But thank
you're
you
an
for
amazing
being a friend that you can have those conversations with.
Please.
Some people just want yes people around
No,
them. Some people
please,
just want
please.
people that
I don't
just
care how
agrees
uncomfortable
and
it is.
goes with it. It's like, no, I can't do that.
I know you can't.
I'm a truth teller.
You are.
I can't help it.
Who you get that from?
My grandma.
Your granny.
My grandma. My grandma I got straight A's in school, and then my little thing on my comments, she talked too much. Because she would be like, "You baby, just say whatever. Oh, rest in peace, mama. I love you so much." Man, I had a moment this morning too.
You did.
I was thinking about her last BET Awards. Lord, she's sending all the family
Last
pictures of
year.
me on the screen, and she sent it to me, and I pulled it up and I showed you today what she
So
said.
cute.
Oh, I miss her so much. But yeah,
I love you. Yeah. So yeah, I think you're an amazing friend. I think.
what can I grow in? Answer the phone.
Yeah, but I don't take that personally.
You don't.
That's interesting. Like, what can my friends grow in? I'll be real. If my friends asked me that, like for the most part, I really feel like they're already on the journey and they're good. Like, I'm sure we all have things to work on, but I feel like there's nothing that the active friends in my life, like, sure, I'm like not talking to certain people right now, whatever. Like, it's their choice. It's all good. Like, it happens. Open with boundaries. But like, all those friends got shit to work on, but you know, that's their journey. The friends that I'm actively doing, like talking to and like they're in good places, they're doing the work. They're doing the work. And so there's like what they have to improve upon, they already know. Do you know what I mean? The friends that are like dealing with stuff right now, like they're on the other side of healing, right? They're not healed. They're not even on their healing journey yet. They haven't gone there. They haven't even started to deconstruct, you know? But the people in my life who are doing the work, it'd be weird if they came to me and said like, what can I do better as a friend? I don't know. Everything's good, bro. Everyone's chillaxing.
Care about that. That's why that's why we're still friends.
Yeah, especially in this season though.
For sure.
Like there was little moments where remember I was
Oh,
like,
you did.
Yeah. I was like, okay, like you have to stop telling me you're gonna like
No, that's when I had a boyfriend. You was mad.
I was so jealous. I was jealous of the time you were spending with him.
You
I was.
were. But we talked about that
We
too.
talked about it. I'm so
Wow,
proud
we're
of us.
doing good.
We're doing so good, babe. I was
You were
so.
like, what did you say?
Bruh, I have the picture vividly in my head.
Very common for friends to feel jealous that you're spending time with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Very normal feelings. Talk it out, have conversations. You know, I definitely think you should talk about it. And I think you should know that you need to do the work too. It's very normal. It happens. And I just implore you to speak your mind and then to work on it, you know, because at the end of the day, it's okay to have the feelings, but you can't then expect, you know, assuming your friend has a healthy dynamic with their partner or whatever, you can't expect, you know, them to be the same way they were when they were single. It's just not fair for any of us to expect our friends to stay the same after they have a baby or get married. But if you're in the kind of friendships where your friendship is predicated on the singleness and that once they have a partner, they disappear and they're no longer your friend and no longer showing up, then that's okay to end that friendship too, right?
She said she was coming to my house and I have a window that looks out to the city. I was ready. I was looking out to the window.
Sad.
I was literally like a kid waiting on their daddy to come home from jail.
Oh,
like,
baby, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, because I will say I see some dynamics where when people get into relationships, they literally ditch their friends, but that doesn't sound good, right? Like the friendships that have lasted for me is like we all still show up. We all still show up to the weekly events. We all show up. We don't literally disappear on each other. It's one thing to have less time, but it's one thing to literally disappear. So I feel like if your friends are disappearing on you because they're with a boy or a girl, like that needs to have a conversation about the expectation of the closeness and expectation of the friendship. It's like saying, because you know what I compare it to, guys? It's like comparing it to something outside of a friendship. That's like saying, hey, I volunteer every Saturday at this like soup kitchen, but I have a boyfriend now, so I'm not going to show up anymore. It's like, why did getting a boyfriend take away from you volunteering your time? Wouldn't it just be like, oh, he volunteers with me now? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you, like, there are certain things that will change for sure, but why would you stop doing stuff that you're doing across the board? Maybe one or two things changes, but you wouldn't stop living your life because you got a boyfriend. Or like, I've been a part of a bowling league for 6 years, but now I'm not going to go to it because I have a boyfriend or I have a girlfriend. Why? Yes, Chad, it's supposed to add, not subtract. Exactly. So if you're getting into relationships with people, yes, Chad, exactly. You can integrate stuff together, integrate things together, bring your lives together in the ways in which it makes sense, you know?
It's okay. But I was so excited. Like,
We
to see
hadn't
my
seen
friend.
each
We
other in
hadn't
a
seen
few
each other.
weeks, yeah.
And she called me. And I don't remember what you said, but it was like so nonchalant. And I was like,
I'm
yeah,
turning
you're like,
around.
girl, I'm turning around. I was like, what? I was dressed. I was ready. And I was looking out at the city. Like, my friend's coming. Like, I'm just waiting on my couch. And she canceled. And I was just so let down.
You were.
Oh my
And I
God.
think you're not normally like that.
No.
So that was
Shocking to you.
for me.
Like, I can cancel on
But
her.
then it was like, you got somebody else you've been spending time with.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
having
Oh, okay. Interesting. So, yeah. So she's waiting. She's ready. She's looking cute. And then her friend cancels on her. Why'd she cancel on her? What was the priority? Because like she said, you've canceled on me before and I didn't mind. But since I was not getting enough of your time and then you canceled, it felt worse. This is an important conversation to have with your friends. Like I actually, I talked to a couple of friends and this is like, again, it's hard because like you don't always have the ability to say yes. But like if a friend comes to me and says, hey, can we talk like once a month? I really miss you. I already have a few people I do this with. So a few people in my life have a monthly call with me that are like, we're gonna catch up. Definitely. And they're like, just, I have to schedule my friends into my calendar or I won't, I can go years without talking to people. Like years, especially like most people, like just most people. And honestly, like my sister and I can go months without talking on the phone. This is on the phone, by the way. This isn't like texting. I text everybody almost every other day or like once a week at least, but on the phone. If you want me to get on the phone with you, then I schedule people in. And I've had a couple of friends be like, we need to schedule monthly calls. And I said, okay, for sure. But now I'm kind of full up. Now there are people that have taken so many of my free spots that's it. So every other friend that's like, hey, can we talk once a month? If, you know, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard. So you don't have that much time to be that good of a friend to everybody. You can't be that good of a friend to everybody. You can't. And this includes my friendship with my siblings, right? Chess says texting as in texting or texting as in just sending a meme. I mean both, I guess. Like certain friends I send voice messages to, and certain friends I text, and certain people I meme to, and certain people I do all three. You know, so it just depends. And look, eras of life change things. So let's see where we're in 6 months. Like sometimes my bestie and I, because we've known each other for so long, sometimes we'll have eras of our life where we talk every day. And then we have eras of our life where we talk once every 6 months. And then we have eras of our life where we talk once a month, but we're always texting. Oh my God, this just happened. Did you see the news? I can't tell you how many times a week I send my friend like, oh my God, Trump is so fucking stupid text. You know, I can't, he's so stupid, you know, but I can't do this for all friends. Like I'm full up, calendar's full now. And that sucks, but that's just why I need to make sure my friends know I love you, but I do have a priority over certain friends versus others, period. And sometimes it's first come, first serve. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's first come, first serve. But yeah.
I didn't get no time.
Yeah,
I was jealous of the time.
Yeah, you were.
But we talked about that. But yeah, I think especially.
And I was like, this is the first time I've done it. He was like, no, it's actually been 2 other times you've done it recently. on the 7th of, like, you knew the date.
I was like, I have to speak up now because this is the 3rd time and I'm really triggered.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't take that. I think in this season of solitude, I don't need that. There might be a season where I do though. So you just
ooh. In this season, I might not need it, but another season I might. So I had this thought when if somebody came to me and said like, oh, Brittany, how do you sleep at night? I don't know. Ask me tomorrow. It'll change. Like, I think sometimes we get into our head that everything is permanent. I have a whole conversation. Oh my God. I have a whole podcast about gender in relation to this. Just because I'm a girl today doesn't mean I'll be a girl tomorrow. And I need people to understand that for some of us, we get to the point in our life where we really are like kind of in eras of our life. We're taking it day by time. You might be a girl for an era of your life and that era might last a lifetime. But for some of us, we might not be a girl tomorrow. And so like, you know, the way we engage in life needs to be adaptable. But also, if you can't do that with your friends, that's okay. It's okay to not be friends with people. Everyone acts like it's the end of the fucking world to end a friendship. Just end the fucking friendship and go find different friends. But not because you don't love the consciousness, but because you have changed enough to warrant, to get, one, free that person, but two, for you to have a different life. I just feel like people forget that, like, you can do whatever you want in life. Be kind, be compassionate, be thoughtful. But friendships are relationships. They have to be good. Friendships are relationships. They have to be healthy. Friendships are relationships. They take effort. Okay? Wait, chat said, how do you deal with moving abroad? I've had a hard time. I'm in Eastern and she's in Europe. Honestly, it's been a struggle. The time difference has been a huge struggle, but we've managed. So Saturdays are my quote day off, though I always end up working, quote day off. And those are the days I catch up with friends and family. And the time difference has been hard, period. Like, it's been fucking hard. I'm 9 hours ahead of Pacific, 9 hours ahead of Pacific. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's been hard. So, you know, sometimes I miss people and I say, I guess I'll try again next weekend. Sometimes I try to call people and they can't pick up and I go, I guess I'll try again next Saturday. Because by the time I'm done with stream, so it's 6:30 p.m. for me right now. It's 9:30 a.m. for Pacific. I'm at 7 p.m. my time and it's barely their morning. Do you know what I mean? It's 10 a.m. You know what I'm saying? So, like, by the time I'm done with stream, I'm so fucking wiped of my spoons. The very few people I can talk to after stream, very few, is like my sister, my bestie's family, but it has to be like very spur of the moment, and you have to be lucky if you catch me at a good time because I'm fucking done. And by the time I finish stream, I go and make dinner and I come back to my computer and I edit. Then I edit till about 11 or midnight, and then I go to bed and I'm hopefully asleep by 2 or 3 a.m. and then I'm up again between 10 and 12. And then it's not a, so when am I supposed to fucking talk to people? Do you know what I mean? And then they want me to be there. They want me to be focused. They want me to hear about their life. And I can't give it to them because I'm thinking about work because I know I have to go back and edit. And then I lose my momentum because I'm neurodivergent. And then, damn, I can't even do it. And then I'm burnt out. Yeah, it's like, it sucks, the time difference. But the best thing about having a strong friendship is a few years of awkward timing because of a time difference isn't going to break a friendship. When you know you have a strong friendship with people, you know going a few months without talking isn't going to end this friendship. When you have a solid relationship with people, you know that they're going to make an effort the same way you're going to make the effort. Okay, so at the end of the day, like, this time difference has been annoying, but it will never be the reason my friendships end. Because ultimately, I have considerate and amazing friends who understand that they also understand it's hard. Because it's not like I'm like, hey, can you wake up at 6 a.m. to talk to me? Now, usually with my friends, I do say, like, how early can you get up to talk? So I have a friend I talk to at 9 a.m. their time. And I'm like, are you sure that's too, like, is that too early? And they're like, I'm up already. I'll talk to you during that time. It'll be great. And that's great. But you know what I mean? I want them to understand, like, I don't expect you to wake up at 5 a.m. to talk to me on the phone. That would be crazy. That'd just be silly. You know what I mean? So I hope that answers your question.
You start working on it now. For sure.
Answer my phone.
Yeah. Answer my phone. But I have noticed in certain things, I will go back to the selfishness. Like, I feel like certain things I am selfish. Like,
Sure. No, I think that comes with being a celebrity too, right? Like, you are used to things. I think you're used to things revolving around you.
it comes with me wanting a team that sees my vision and everybody around me is here for the vision.
It's difficult working with people.
But we are.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, talk about that.
I don't want anybody. I mean, we talked about like the team thing. I'm really big on this team right now.
You
Like,
are,
team.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where it's like, okay, if you're here for a year, that's fine. But in this,
And every time you say team, I get it.
I know.
Ooh,
I know.
It's like we're a family here. It can get toxic. We're all family here. We're a team. But it's like, oh, you know, we're doing work together, but like for how long? Okay, I like the growth of her saying, even if you're here for a year, as long as you're dedicated, that's good. But we understand you might not be here forever, because in business, it feels like a betrayal. Like, you helped me build this business and now you're leaving me. This happened with Kat Von D and her siblings worked for her. And then when they wanted to leave the business, she was like, I can't believe you're leaving me. And they're like, this just isn't my dream. Like, this isn't my dream. And by the way, I think they're not talking to each other, which makes sense because she's like an anti-vaxxer now. But anyways, she's like, I think that's important to recognize. Like, your family might help you build a business, but it's not their dream.
Because it's trauma. But in this,
No, I don't think it's trauma.
what do you think it is?
I think that right now, I don't even know if you're supposed to be focused on that.
Oh,
No, I feel like I am.
That
I feel like it's all coming together too. I feel like it's in such a good space.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
maybe mine is trauma.
Yeah. I'm like, ugh. Pray about it, think about
No,
it,
sure.
and then come back to me. But the team, I'm like, I used to be real big on like, you need to be with me for 10 years and build this and build. Well, I told you that. I was like, why doesn't people stay and just build the legacy and I could just make millionaires? Like what Tyler Perry's doing.
Literally.
You don't need to go make another Tyler Perry Studios.
Yeah.
Help
I'm
him.
giving it to you. Yes.
Like I am trying to find that, but I also understand there's other leaders out there. There's other CEOs. There's other women with vision and their own purpose, right? I just, if you're going to be with me for a year, in that year, the vision is LTTA. The vision can't be whatever the fuck you're trying to do, excuse my language, Lord, off to the side. Like you want
excuse my language, Lord, is gonna keep. God, it's so funny.
do it after that year
focused.
then. I want people around because I'm tired of starting over.
But see, that's why
Yeah, I think this is the hard thing about business. It is very hard building a successful and reliable business with people who work with you. Because people have their own lives, they have to quit, they have to go. I mean, it is hard. It is actually hard. But you also can't keep people from living their dream because people have the right to leave a business. It's hard though. It is. I think it's okay to say that it's hard. And it's okay to say that you're just like a relationship where it's like kind of like you're very compatible. I think it's the same with coworkers. You know, I just think of my dad's business all the time. None of the kids wanted the business and none of us could work with my dad. Mostly because the problem with my dad is he kept reminding us that like, I'm your father. And I was like, that's kind of the problem. Are you my boss or are you my father today? I need you to kind of be my boss because you're pulling the dad card at business, at work. And I've heard Dave Ramsey say, and not to quote Dave Ramsey because, you know, fuck his politics, but I've heard his daughter say the only way we get through work is by me calling him Dave at work because he can't pull the dad card at work. But my dad did. And I told my dad, I love you, but your kids can't work for you if you keep holding it over us that you're our dad. Because you're making it personal. And like, I think it probably was really hard for him to understand. So he had one of my brother's besties work for him all these years. And like, basically up until the business was done, this boy who's friends with my brother, like was working with my dad. And I was like, I think it is so funny that out of all the people that stayed building that business and maintaining it with my dad was, of course, my mom. Of course, my dad's brothers used to be a part of the business. Of course, all of that legacy stuff. But the last few years was basically him and my brother's bestie. And I just will never think that's not funny. You know what I mean? I think that's so funny. And it just cracks me up, right? Chet said, did your father close the business or sell it? He can't sell his business because it's too customized to his brain. He liquidated it. And they own a commercial building. So they're going to be ethical business landlords, which is like good for them. They needed a retirement anyways. God knows. But it's one of those things where like, I'm really happy for my parents. It really ended perfectly for them. They ended up in a really good position. Immigrants to this country, 7th grade education from my dad's end, successful business, successful, everything is successful. Chet said they're in their 70s now. They're 60. They're in their mid 60s. Yeah, they ended up, they're going to be 66 this year. I think they did really well, but it didn't happen because any of the kids took over, worked with my dad, even though we've all worked for my father at some point, but we also all quit on my father at some point. And it's because working with family is hard. Working with family is not perfect. My parents were not perfect in the way that they did things. There was a lot of falling out with family members. There was a lot of falling out. But the best thing my mom and dad ever did was going solo. Like the best thing my dad ever did was not working with other people. So I kind of take note of that because the best thing I ever did for myself was making sure never to be on a podcast with somebody. I remember there was a thing going around of somebody starting a podcast and like my name got thrown into the bucket. And I was like, I ain't gonna do shit, bro. Every time I see someone start a podcast and somebody's like, oh, what about Brittany? I'm like, nah, with peace and love, because of exactly what she's talking about here. You cannot predict how people's lives are gonna go. So unless you're very lucky, like a Rhett and Link or Colin and Samir, you just cannot guarantee that you're going to do a show with somebody for 30 to 50 years. This isn't Regis and Kelly. Regis and Kathy Lee Griffith. I'm aging myself, but you know what I'm saying. Like, oh, Regis and Kelly took over, but it was Regis and Kathy before. And then I think it was Regis and Kelly. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm aging myself. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't guarantee it. And so you just got to think about it from that perspective.
That's why I think the conversation of team is premature.
But why?
Because I don't really think you feel like that.
What do you think I feel like?
I think you want us here longer than a year.
I do. Right. I do. But I'm okay.
No, you're not.
No, I am. I swear I am.
Actually, I'll tell you this. I won't name names, but a YouTuber who has a dual, like a partnership kind of channel where it's like both of them reacting to stuff. They told me that if they weren't in business, if they didn't rely on this partnership, they would have moved countries. They would have moved to a different place in the world. But because their business is in one place, because they rely on a business partner, because they have a good friendship, because the setup is good, they wouldn't want to risk that because too many people are at risk. And I think about that all the time. How, yeah, like you are committed to staying in this country, to staying in a place, to staying in a neighborhood because you ran a business with somebody who has kids here or a family here or, you know, roots here, right? And I think about that all the time. Like ultimately you know what I mean? Actually, this happened with Cinnamon Toast Ken. You know how Cinnamon Toast Ken has a co-host? He moved to Australia, but people didn't like it as much, them doing the over the screen thing. And after Ken moved back to America, they now work in the same studio and like the content's better. Like they did that move because he has a family and they wanted to move where his wife is from. But once he moved back, things changed again. And I think about that all the time. You know, I just think about that all the time, that ultimately, regardless of your situation, you have to think about what you're doing when you go into business. It's not a bad thing. It's okay to stay committed to a business partner and a business opportunity, but ultimately I can understand the desire to move somewhere else and do something else. But that's why you have to pick and choose your job. You know, if you're an actress, you go to LA. If you're, you know, whatever else, you go here. The idea is like, it's okay to run a business with someone temporarily. It's also okay to eventually quit and go do something else. But pay attention to what you're really signing up for.
If we know the intent, if we know you're going to be here for a year and you can be an asset for that year and we make the strategy, we make the exit plan, you can pass the torch to the next person. I'm okay with that.
You just don't want to be left high and dry.
That's it.
Got it.
I don't want to be left high and dry. So if you know your long-term goal is for you to be a CEO and have your own podcast and be a superstar, I need to know that day one.
For sure.
And you don't need to be working for...
It deter you?
Yes, because I can just produce your podcast. You don't need to be working for me. If you want to be a podcaster, we need to focus on that. But if you want to, you know, learn, I want to learn logistics. I want to learn operations. I want to learn how to build it. I want to learn this. I want to learn that. I love serving. I don't mind that. Yeah. Okay, then come help me. If you're an asset, come help. But in this 6 months, in this year, in this 2 years, the vision is LTTA.
I used to dream when I was a young YouTuber, like with this idea, like, what if I made millions of dollars? Like, who would I give jobs to? None of my friends want a job from me. All of my friends have their own jobs. They are not interested in working for me. That's the point. Nobody in my life needs me to give them a job. Everybody's busy living their own life. Maybe they're figuring it out. Maybe they don't have their dream job yet, but I don't have anybody in my life that like needs me to give them a job. And I think that's one of the greatest things we can do for each other as a community is be so independent and so healthy that no one in the community is worried about becoming successful in order to pay your rent.
I need all of you for this vision. I can't do it on my own.
I still think he's refining that.
Even though we never did it on our own, I never became successful on my own. I still don't. I have a partner who helps take care of everything so I don't have to. Like, I never did it on my own. Every time I lived with family, every time I needed friends to help me, every time I never did it alone. But I also, out of courtesy to everybody in my life, make sure that I'm not waiting for them. You know, I send those memes to my brother, waiting for my brother to become rich and famous so, you know, I can quit my job. And then he'll send me memes like waiting for my sister to become rich and famous so I can quit my job. We're not going to quit our jobs, but it's funny. Okay. We're not going to actually quit our jobs, but it's a funny meme.
Okay.
The reason why I
accept that.
The reason why I think he's refining that, and the reason why I think the team portion could be a little bit premature, is because the calling on your life, you're an entrepreneur and you're a visionary. So you're going to be called to help women like that.
It was like when my dad told me, Betsy, you're never going to be able to work for yourself. I don't even know why you're trying. He's like, go run a business. And he's right. My dad knows me. I'm like him. I can't work for somebody else. I can't. I'm a good worker, but I burn out. And my dad was right. Look at me. All these years later, my dad always knew. My dad raised me since I was a kid to run my own business. And I think he knew I was like him in that way.
You actually get annoyed when people don't have nothing else that they want to do in life.
For sure.
Right.
I pull it out of them. I'm like, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. What? Let's do this. Let's start this. You can, I know it.
Right.
I pull it out of women.
Absolutely.
I know that.
So your greatest frustration with building a team is that, but it's actually what you're called to. So you got to figure out you got to fine tune that a little bit more before you build the team, because you're going to build a team of women that are bosses.
So why can't you just be on the team and be a boss? Why can't I make you a multi-millionaire and you run?
I'm going to call it right now. She's not ready for this position of leadership she wants to have, because she should know this answer already. I can't tell if she's asking this question because she actually means it, or she's just saying she went through this thought process and figured it out. But yeah, is she advocating for what she believes in right now? Because if so, she's not ready to be a leader in the way she thinks she is. She's not a career maker. No offense. Like, she thinks she's a career maker, but like, I don't know if that's true. She might be the reason people are able to get awareness, or people are, you know what I mean? Oh, Chet says, I think she wants a community. I think she does kind of too, right? I think she does want a community. I think she wants what we all secretly want in the back of our heads, a coven of women on an island. But even women on an island can get annoying.
Run this
You
section
can,
of
but
the
are
team.
you set up for that yet?
What do you mean?
If somebody came and said that this is what they want to work for you, whatever, but they feel like they're a boss and they're called to this in 2 years, are you set up to give that person what they want and need to stay within your company, like a TPS? Are you set up for that right now?
I feel like we're building towards that.
Okay.
I feel like that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't just want to hinder you and have you be a slave and a worker.
Yeah.
I want you to be fulfilled under me and feel like,
I want you to be fulfilled under me. So Dave Ramsey does it. Okay, fuck. I can't believe I'm mentioning this white man again. Dave Ramsey does this thing with his business model, which I actually kind of do appreciate, which is you're under Ramsey Solutions. He changed it from Dave Ramsey to Ramsey Solutions. So when he retires from himself, the brand doesn't have to retire with him, which meant he could leave the legacy to his kids and his workers. So he built a team around him who he gives book deals to all of them. He gives them their own YouTube channels. They still have to go out there and get the viewers ultimately. They obviously have to go out there and build a fan base, but he gives them a studio to work out of. He gives them a team, but ultimately they would be nowhere without him. And ultimately they would be nowhere without themselves showing up. So some people I've noticed are more charismatic than others. Like, his daughter is fine on the show, but I think her YouTube channel is boring. George is fun on the show and his YouTube channel is fun, but not that I watch any of them, but I'm just commenting. You know what I'm saying? I've watched enough to do the research. And so I feel like there is like a little bit of the capitalism from her that she's suffering from, which Chap pointed out, right? Is like, I think she is capitalistically minded, but she wants the spirituality of the community. The community fails under capitalism. The community is always at threat because of capitalism. So if capitalism is your way of building community, community is only as good as a dollar bill, right? Chat says, does anyone feel unaddressed tension between them while they talk, or am I just projecting my conflict sensitivity? I don't see it. The way they're talking right now feels like they might be slightly disagreeing, but they seem pretty fine. I'm not hearing anything. Nothing is coming out. Yeah, I feel like they disagree here. I feel like the friend thinks she's not ready. I also agree with the friend. I don't think she's ready. I think she's ahead of herself. I think and I understand she's got millions of followers. She's at the BET Awards. She feels like she's ready. I don't think she's ready. You know what I mean? But I don't know though. She's fasting for God 9 days. So what do I know?
I am fulfilled. I am doing what I want to do. And yes, Jennifer is called to this this section of the company and she has 40 women under her. They go through Jennifer. They don't even have to come to me. She's fulfilled. She's over 40 women. She's speaking to women. She's working with women. She has this section. She runs this section of the company and she loves what she does. She's still a boss under a company that she would have never been able to build on her own.
I get what you're saying.
If Jennifer just works with me, she could be a millionaire, but she over here trying to start something with 5
making
people
nothing.
and struggling. And she could still be fulfilled under LTTA. I want to find those women.
Got you.
Is this a mythical person she just made up in her head?
Okay. They're
I assume she's not talking about a real person.
bosses. They have great vision.
They're leaders.
They're leaders
in their field.
And
they can come serve the company. You think Tyler Perry's not hiring leaders?
No, they
Fuck Tyler Perry, bro. Girl, did you not hear that he's under scrutiny? Is she a Tyler Perry fan? What is happening? Who fuck Tyler Perry? Fuck his billionaire status that came on the backs of black women and your reputation and the stereotypes he enhanced in order to make money off of you. Fuck Tyler Perry. She's mentioned him twice now, and now I'm pissed. Who cares about Tyler fucking Perry, what he did, and at the expense of who? At the expense of who did he rise the ranks? Who fuck Tyler Perry? Girl, ma'am.
Yeah, they bosses.
They're millionaires. They're leaders. They're millionaires. They're fulfilled. They're doing what they want to do under this man's vision, though.
Yeah, Chad, I do agree. You said this is what I'm feeling as well. The friend doesn't think she's grounded. Yeah, the friend definitely disagrees that she's like, I'm fuck that. Like, nah. I disagree. I don't like this part. This part of it is like, girl, get that capitalism out of your veins. All these Christian capitalists, bro. God's having me fast for 9 days so I can be a billionaire. All of these Christian capitalists are driving me crazy. Absolutely. And that includes Dave fucking Ramsey with his, I have $100 million, but the God gave it to you. It's God's money. It's God's money.
So I just think it's finding the women that see the vision, that can serve the vision, and knowing there's a place for them to flourish and not be hindered in the vision. I don't want to hinder you. I don't want you to be an employee.
I think the time part is you.
I don't want to hinder you. I don't want you to be an employee. That's what you are, girl. You're paying my bills. I am employed by you. We cannot all be running this business. Am I your employee or your friend? You can't tell me I'm a girl boss. Like, yes, we're girl bosses when we work for other people, but like, we are not friends. We are running a business together. This is why I say, ooh, messy, friends in business.
Doing your due diligence
to set it up,
putting in the work to set it up, and not making it feel like it's all words. You know, so once you do that, I think that you're gonna get the team part. I think that's why I feel the premature part of it. Yeah, because once you do that, you're gonna get the rest.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. The process before the team. Systems and operations. You're such a systems person.
Ooh, I love it.
Well, is there anything else you want to get off your chest?
I was like,
this is beautiful. I'm in such a good space, y'all. I'm just happy. I'm happy. God brought me through a lot, and I
believe she's happier than she's ever been. But I think she has a long way to go. I believe 100% that she is way happier than she ever was in her toxic relationships and toxic era. But I guarantee you she has a lot more to do to be truly joyful. I can't wait to see her if she ever gets to her joy. It might be interesting.
In a good space. We're going to see. I'm just ready for the next season. Like, I'm ready to be in my lit turn up season.
Please.
I'm not lit outside.
Oh.
No, I do want to go outside though.
Please.
Baby.
We could do it. We do it gracefully. I'm like, baby.
I'm outside. I'm ready. Yesterday she said, I have to get out the house. Yeah. I was like, okay, I love you. I said, I love you. Send me pictures.
Right. And you laid on the couch watching Straw.
It was so good.
So good. I had to watch it.
Best night.
Oh,
no regrets. No regrets. Best night of my life. I love you so much. Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
This is a great episode.
They must be so tired. That was after the BET Awards. They've just gotten home from the awards ceremony, and now they're talking and doing all this like real conversation having. They must be so tired.
Hey, wait, we didn't talk about LTTA app. I know. That drops.
By the time they hear this, it's going to be out.
Jesus.
Only the beta though, y'all. So it's only VIP. It's beta. You have to be invited.
Crazy.
So go to LTTAapp.com.
Yeah. You gotta send your friend a link. That's what this is giving.
You have to be invited. This is the beta version, which is the beginning, which means VIP only. Go to LTTAapp.com if you're not already signed up. If you haven't got an invitation already, you might be on that waiting list. Join the waiting list. And yeah, people have already downloaded the app.
It's absolutely good.
They better tell me what it is right now, girl. What is it?
Oh my God.
That's the thing. That's the thing that annoys you. Are a trailblazer. Golly, bro.
Thank you.
For real.
I believe that. I know it.
You are a trailblazer, man. Like, you are a Black woman in tech, created an app from scratch. Not only did she create this app, she invested in creating the app with a whole nother company and had to already put in money, already did all the investment, restart over because the app was trash. And she didn't give up and throw in the towel and be like, well, this must be God giving me a sign. No, you did over and got the right person. I don't know what is going to come from this app.
Oh my God. I got chills.
I have no
It's going to take
idea.
over.
Stop. Chat says it's giving, I guess it's Bitcoin or... No, I hope it's not a Bitcoin. That'd be so lame. What is it though? Like the fact that she's not telling us what it is feels so suspicious. Like, is it an entrepreneurial app, a dating app? Is it like Instagram? Like, what is it?
It's going to be nuts. This is going to be nuts.
I know.
Oh, God.
Lord.
What is happening?
Is it giving MLM? Bro, these entrepreneurial capitalistic types, you never know.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
It's transformative. I know that if our lives were changed and impacted in the way that it was from being a part of it,
Being behind the scenes that nobody has even seen yet.
bro, the camera people were crying. They were like, whew, I got a breakthrough. The cameraman?
You should have seen the casting call.
I already know, bro.
The big ass security guard was weeping.
What?
Crying. Daryl was crying. Everybody was crying.
Wow.
What?
It was just, I mean, how every single thing we touch is just God is there, period. He's there.
What?
And these women's
A coaching program? Is it?
lives are changing. And that's all I care about. I know my mission. I'm clear on my mission. I said this to you the other day. I'm not confused about my mission and my vision when I'm in the field.
You know, when y'all get commenting in the
That's
comments.
it. When you look at this way and look at
Is it a prayer app? Is it? That'd be so funny.
that way and you're on the internet and you're listening to the
I'll be
noise,
getting on my nerves.
that's when you get, let me talk to y'all. That you're not confused about what God told you. You're not confused about your mission.
Too many
You're not
voices.
confused
Too many
about the
voices.
vision. You're not confused about your gifts. You're not confused about your talents. You're not confused about what God said. You're not confused about what you heard. You're not confused when you're doing it. You're not confused when you're writing that book. You're not confused when you're writing those ideas. You're not confused when you have that business idea. You're not confused when you're talking to your friend about your ideas. You're not confused. You're not confused. You get confused when you let the outside noises and the noise and the bicker and the bullshit and the gossip, excuse me, Lord, get in your ear. You looking at the comments. You looking at what they got. You comparing. You're looking. You look at what God put in front of you. You're not confused. And I'm speaking to me when I'm speaking to y'all. I'm not
I'm very confused about this app.
confused.
You're not. You're
I'm
very clear.
Oh my God,
You're
I'm so
very
clear
clear.
on my mission.
You're very clear.
I said that on the red carpet today. I looked at the lady. I said, I'm very clear on what
What
God
are
called
some
me to do.
practical tools that you're putting in place to make sure you sustain the clearness that God has given you?
I think it's remembering in those moments. Like I brought this up to you if you have to write it,
Uh-oh. Red flag. LLTA app, 20,000 followers. We aren't just an app. We're a family. Welcome home. Exclusive content, behind the scenes, private events, plus more. Is this it? Gross.
Oh my gosh, telling you who I am
Is
without
this it?
saying what I do. Telling you who I am without saying what I do is so hard. I am a lover. I
Is
am
this
a
it?
giver. Best friend. I am someone that appears to be outgoing, but is a little shy. I am compassionate.
It's giving a culty vibe.
I love you.
I love you too.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Try This. You don't need no introduction.
Let's go.
When's the last time you've been in love?
When I met you, I'm like, I don't know how to take this girl.
You thought I was playing.
You what?
Do you think I am too alpha? Too
Episode with DaBaby only on the LLT app. If you don't want to miss this conversation. Ew, DaBaby. Ew. Shit, no offense. Ew. Why him? DaBaby. Didn't he go on a transphobic rant? DaBaby transphobic. Yeah, HIV rant, transphobia, and misogyny. No, girl.
write it. If that's what you need to meditate on, write it. When you hear God's voice clearly and you know clearly.
God was like, hey, go on a 9-day fast, only water, and date DaBaby.
You have to write it down and go back to that. You have to go back to it. You can't forget it. Just like the pain God brought me out of. I say, God, I never want to feel it again, but never let me forget the pain you brought me through, because we forget. You forget what God said.
Wait, was she dating him before, but then they broke up? You chat saying she was too alpha for him? Is that her toxic era? Then why is that on the app? She's Christian, isn't that right down her alley? I guess so, being homophobic and transphobic. Okay, are we done watching? We don't have to watch them rant 10 minutes about an app that has content about DaBaby, right? Did we do it? I think we did it. I think this is good to stop here. I feel like I'm glad we cleared up the context of those clips. I rebuke in the name of Jesus Christ or in the name of Pride Month anything she said about Jesus inspiring her to starve herself, but you do you. Chess says she never dated him. She had a big crush on him and always talked about him. Okay, noted. Their friendship seems fine. Everybody blew it out of proportion because the internet sucks. I wish them all the best of luck. I'm rooting for her to continue her healing journey because God knows she sounds like she's doing better than she was before. But I hope that she knows like there's more to heal because at the end of the day, like the Christianity aspects of it are making me like, I don't know. So I rebuke in the name of Pride Month, in the name of the gays, you know. But I'm just glad we cleared up that context because, man, the responses to her were crazy. It's funny that when you deconstruct somebody, you can see the parts of them that you don't actually like, and then you can give them their flowers where they deserve it. Like, it's not about being perfect, but I really try my hardest to look into the context of things. And I know a lot of people are like, Brittany, the context. I'm trying really hard. I might not be perfect at it, but I had a feeling the internet really did a disservice with the context of this one. I'm going to go ahead and link the video in the chat. You guys can check out her channel. She's got 1 million subscribers. I mean, she's definitely doing something. 5 million subscribers on Instagram. Just came from the BET Awards. I mean, she's definitely doing something. The question is it going to bring her joy? Is it going to make her feel in sync with her joy? That's the question, right? I think that's the question for all of us. Yeah. Chet says, are we done for today? Yes, that's it. That's what we're doing today. I need to go and edit some content. I'm trying to get the Mormon series up for you guys, and I'm trying to get the queer ultimatum up for you guys. So I'm going to need to be very focused on streams for the next few weeks. Come in, do a topic, get out, edit, do it all over again until I get it up for you. Man, this is the best season and the hardest season of doing YouTube. Is like I gotta edit and record stuff. And it's just like, it's a lot, but I'm going to do it for you. So thank you for being here. Please like the stream before you head out. And I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Let's listen to some Elvin on the way out. I'll link her in the chat. Oh, see you guys tomorrow. Dun, 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 dun. Also follow me on Instagram just for funsies. Why not? Oh, I'm also technically on Blue Sky, but I've really just been posting content there. I haven't really thinking about it that much. You don't have to follow me if you don't want to, but if you want to and retweet or re-blue, I don't know what they call it there. You can. I'll just link it in the chat. I haven't been promoting it because I've just been literally like kind of setting it up. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but I'm on there if you guys want to follow for fun. Yay. Check that out. What's your Insta? Everything is linked in the description of my videos. You can check out all my social media there, but I will also link my Instagram. I will also link my Instagram. Boom. All right. See you guys there. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.